Live. Hello, YouTube, Rumble, X, and I think Twitch. I don't even actually look at the Twitch ever, so there's probably a bunch of episodes all named the same thing on Twitch. But hello, regardless, everybody.
Hello. I am here also.
John is here as well. He is present.
Present.
My mother-in-law is coming over tonight, so we can have, and I ate dinner before. We're on a meal train right now.
Wow, so you're going to fall asleep during the show.
I might. Are you familiar with the concept of a meal train?
You know what I'm going to sip?
What are you going to sip?
We can talk about it during the donation segment, maybe, if they send a donation. I don't know. I got the cold brew. We'll talk about it, but I might crack one open and sip a little bit, get a little bit of going.
Make sure you shake it vigorously.
Vigorously?
Vigorously. You have to act.
Should I hold it around my waist area?
Sure. But be sure to open it slowly after shaking it vigorously. Nurse Elise learned the hard way.
Now I will open slowly.
Open it slowly. Ooh, there's sip. Little ASMR.
I know that was nice.
It was nice. What do you think?
I think we should put a marker down, or someone should ISO that, so we could make an ad for 4 gigawatt that they'll probably never use, but at least they'll smile.
Gigawatt. At least you'll smile. You might not be satisfied, but you'll smile. Yes, that's exactly what they're going for. Sex puns. Where is that script? I have a auto hotkey script that I need to run in order for fun stuff to happen.
Fun stuff. What fun stuff are we doing?
Triggering the marker and controlling the recording. Basically, this show is put together on bubblegum and paper clips that only I understand. And I don't even understand it because it'll work for about 6 months and then break, and I got to relearn everything.
So are we broken right now?
No, we're good. We're good. I just had to run the script.
Well, let's get it on.
Get it on.
It must be quite apparent by this time to any thinking individual that the people of our country and people of other countries all over the world are coming to face a moment of grave decision. The time when we will choose the course of our future.
Oklahoma, Texas, New York, Philadelphia, around the world, it's gonna be a big nut bust.
The Millennial Media Offensive podcast is now live.
That's right. Today's November 18th, 2025. You're listening to MMO number 194. And from the great city and state of St. Louis, Missouri, I'm Dan Gehring.
And from America's South Coast, where we voted to release the Epstein files on Mickey Mouse Day, no less, I'm John G. Dew.
Why is November 18th Mickey Mouse Day?
I don't know why November 18th is Mickey Mouse Day, but it is.
MICKEYMOUSE, Mickey Mouse. Is it really Mickey Mouse Day?
Yes, it's Mickey Mouse Day.
I remember when I had time to look up juvenile shit like that. Interesting. Was he invented on today? The debut of the lovable mouse. That
yes,
was once
Steamboat Willie. Yes.
November
The
18th,
debut-
1928. He's celebrating
Yes,
his
the
97th birthday. Wow. Good. And,
And Congress signified their appreciation for Mickey Mouse Day by voting to release all of the files relating to Jeffrey Epstein.
And, nearly 100 years later, and Walt Disney's, political ideologies are coming back in style. So, very good.
Yes, more on that later.
That's right. So, the Epstein files, they were voted by who to be released?
Today, the House of Representatives and the Senate voted overwhelmingly to force the DOJ to release the Epstein files.
Oh, boy.
I have an article here, and I will read a bit from it because that is what I like to do that. I like to read from articles from time to time. Let's see. The U.S. House votes 427-1 to compel the Justice Department to release all of its Jeffrey Epstein files. The Senate also says it will pass the bill via unanimous consent before it heads to President Donald Trump's desk to be signed into law.
Clay Higgins was the only politician to vote against it. What is that guy hiding? Huh?
I don't think he's hiding anything. I think he might know something that the rest of us will look back and say, well, that was a load of crap.
Probably. Yes, I wonder if it's going to be like the JFK file release, where it's just a document dump of things you don't care about, and all the good stuff is still redacted.
Well, there was this leak, this hack of emails. It wasn't a hack. It was the Oversight Committee that released some emails and some documents relating to Jeffrey Epstein a few days ago. And I took a look through them. It's where we got the Bubba, the Bubba, Trump and Bubba. You're familiar with this that we heard over the last week?
Oh, the Bill Clinton thing?
Yes, Mark Epstein. Oh, let me back up. So the House Oversight Committee released emails and documents and all kinds of things relating to their investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. Some of this was emails, and there's an email from Mark Epstein and Jeffrey Epstein where they're bantering back and forth as brothers would do. And Jeffrey says, Bannon is here with me. And Mark, and I'm going off memory here, but Mark says, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. And everyone thinks, they thought, well, that's Bill Clinton, Trump blowing Bill Clinton. Mark Epstein has come out and said in an interview that is a private person, Bubba, that no one is familiar with. It's not Bill Clinton, and it was just a joke between brothers. It wasn't based on anything factual.
Well, it didn't stop people from taking that and running with it. I didn't even know the origin of the story. Thank you for breaking that down for me. I just saw that Trump blew Bill Clinton, and I was like, no way. No way.
Well, he was a Democrat.
That's right. At least it was one half of the 2016 ticket that was given it to him. That's
his rally song has been YMCA.
Yes, and the Village People are notoriously gay.
Notoriously gay.
Or, I don't know. It's a notoriously gay song. I have no idea.
It has its implications.
It implies things about young men.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Several of these emails were released. Now, the most interesting thing that was released, in my opinion anyway, And the only person I've really heard talking about this, at least in the media, the mainstream media that is Marjorie Taylor Greene, talking about how some of the documents released by the Oversight Committee reveal that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Ehud Barak, which is a former prime minister of Israel. Now, apparently, these emails about, or the documents tying Jeffrey Epstein to Ehud Barak were already available through some hacking action. Some emails were released. They were hacked and released, and they had been available for a while, but they hadn't really gotten much notoriety. But they were included in this tranche of emails released by the Oversight Committee, so they've gotten a little more notoriety. But this is the connection between Jeffrey Epstein and Israel. And, you know, for the longest time, when we talked about Jeffrey Epstein, I always put forward that he was basically a cat's paw for Israel, you know, collecting damaging information for Israel to use in their blackmail operations. So we've got a connection with a former Israeli prime minister, and what the documents say about that connection is that Epstein would essentially go to places where there was unrest and pitch Ehud Barak as someone who could come in and, through his many connections with the IDF and other security forces, fix those problems, the unrest that was occurring in these areas.
He's like a Israeli, what's her name? Victoria Nuland.
Yes, but not so much on behalf of the state. This was more, think more Blackwater.
Got it.
Than the U.S. government or intelligence agencies.
Understood.
Yeah. But on that note, I have not only discussing Epstein, but also discussing the rift in MAGA that has developed, Marjorie Taylor Greene on CNN. And I've got several clips from her interview with Dana Bash. And I think there's some good material in here if you want to get started with that.
RBF Bash, let's do it. MTG setup, CNN?
Yep.
Let her rip.
It's the political breakup heard round the world. President Trump severing ties with at least one of his closest allies, declaring, "I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene," even calling for primary challenges against his one-time loyalists and attacking her as, quote, wacky, a ranting lunatic, a rhino, and a traitor. This is days before the House of Representatives is set to vote on releasing the Epstein files. It's a stunning breach between two MAGA leaders, one of whom is here with me now exclusively for her first interview since the president cut ties. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, thank you so much for being here. As you just heard, and I know you saw, the president says he's withdrawing support for you, encouraging primary challengers. You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here?
Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected.
How did she have millions of her own dollars?
I think that's incredibly important, and I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
To answer your question, she owned Taylor Commercial, which is a commercial construction and renovation company in Georgia.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought she had like a Rumble show or something. She became
We're on Rumble. You think people get rich from Rumble?
Some people do. Well, not rich, but they do all right.
Yeah, I was about to say rich enough to contribute millions of dollars to a political campaign.
But you don't ever know. You never know.
No. Okay. Yes. So split in MAGA. MTG. Trump came out, said she's crazy, not to mention that she's a woman. And, we're done. We're done. She's a rhino. MTG, the rhino. Never thought I'd see that one coming. And she's a traitor. He called her a traitor. So naturally, the next question is to ask her, well, what happened?
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations. And I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files. And I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong. And so I'm standing with the women, and I will continue to do my small part to get the files released.
You said on X yesterday, quote, "It's astonishing really how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, and that it really makes you wonder what is in those files." Are you suggesting there's something in the Epstein files that President Trump does not want Americans to see?
Is that what you're suggesting, Marjorie?
Well, I think that's the part that has so many people confused, is that the women themselves that I have talked to have over and over again said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Quite a few of them even told me they voted for him. And those are the women I would like to see in the Oval Office with support. I would like to see all of the women there with support. I have no idea what's in the files. I can't even guess, but that is the questions everyone is asking, is why fight this so hard?
Okay. On this note, I want to read an email from Jeffrey Epstein to G-Max, Ghislaine Maxwell. Quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Virginia spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there."
What is this?
This is an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Okay.
Saturday, April 2nd, 2011. So this is before his presidential ambitions.
Okay. And Jeffrey Epstein is trying to get Trump to come over and do weird stuff?
No. It says, I want you to realize, talking to Ghislaine Maxwell, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Virginia spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Some people are taking this as Epstein figuring out that Trump actually was working with the FBI. You know, we heard who's the House of Representatives, or the House of Representatives speaker right now?
Johnson.
Yes, Johnson. Yes, he had a faux pas a little while back and said he insinuated that Trump was working with the FBI, that he was an informant for the FBI. And then he walked it back and everyone blew it off as, well, he was, he just made a mistake. But now we have an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell saying that Virginia, which is one of the girls, Dufresne, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned.
See. Yeah, so I like the theory of the FBI. I'm sure Ray Epps is thinking, all this time everyone was calling me a Fed, but Donald Trump.
Fed.
Ray Epps is holding his Donald Trump doll tight and saying, he's just like me.
Hey, brother. glad the secret's out of the bag.
Yes, and if you read through these emails from Jeffrey Epstein to other people, it's clear that Jeffrey hated Trump, hated him, claimed that he didn't have a decent moral fiber in his body, which I love. I love that the Never Trump crowd is latching on to Jeffrey Epstein's assessment of moral character as proof that they're right about Trump. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yes.
It's how politics works, though. You can you can trust and listen to, like Russian media if they're backing up your point. But other than that, everything they say is a lie.
Right. Well, he's right about that one thing.
That's right. It's not often. It's not often they tell the truth, but we can tell this is the truth.
Yes, we can tell. We can tell. Okay. So Trump says that he told Marjorie Taylor Greene that she couldn't run for governor or Senate, and that's why she's attacking him on certain issues and certain things, and claiming that she's attacking him from an America First position. But he's saying it's just because she wanted to run for governor or Senate, and he told her not to. So this is a clip of some of the things that she's been critical of Trump on.
Well, you mentioned the Syrian leader at the White House. You've also been critical of President Trump over foreign entanglements, H-1B visas. Now he's moving military assets towards Venezuela. I do want to play something that he said this week.
Don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else, and MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Do you agree? Do you think he represents the MAGA movement as he once did?
Well, what the American people voted for with MAGA was to put the American people first and stop sending foreign aid and stop being involved in foreign wars. They very much deserve to be put first. Cost of living is far too high. Health insurance is completely out of control. And those are two issues I've been very vocal on for months and months now, long before Republicans were shocked when those big losses came on this past Tuesday's election. So I think that the American people deserve to be put first. That's what Make America Great Again meant to me. And I think that President Trump can do that if he refocuses his effort. And I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what the country wants to see. Even if he's attacking me, I do want him to be successful for the American people.
So sounds like you're saying that he is not representing the MAGA movement that he started right now.
I can say that promoting H-1B visas to replace American jobs, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students to replace American students' opportunities in American colleges and universities, those are not America First positions. And continuing to really travel all over the world doesn't help Americans back at home. I really, and I said this to him, and I will say it out loud, I would love to see Air Force One be parked and stay home, and there be nothing but a constant focus in the White House on a domestic agenda that helps the American people once and for all.
I don't disagree with that last point.
Yes, but what I'll play the devil's advocate here, the orange devil's advocate, and say that some of this is part of negotiating with China, like the student thing. Allowing or setting aside student visas in that number is part of the ongoing negotiations with China. They want students to be able to come here and come to our universities, and that's valuable for them. And it's a lever that we have that we can use in our economic negotiations with them. And it's more important to Trump to get a deal with China than to draw a hard line and say, no Chinese students in America. The H-1B thing, he's made it clear with the the kind of storm that he kicked up on Fox News, where he said, no, the American workers aren't skilled enough to work in these factories that we're building here. What if he were elegant at all? What he would have laid out is that you have people who are already trained to do these jobs in these factories where the factories had been located. They need to come here when you relocate the factory to train American workers who've had no place to train in these jobs before this. I understand that, but just saying no American workers aren't skilled enough to do these jobs is obviously going to invite the ire of many Americans, and it did, at least online it did. I don't think too many people saw it.
Sure.
But I will say, I think it would be cheaper in the long run. It would be cheaper to pay for prospective American workers in these fields to go train in another country than it would be to have another generation of H-1B visa holders come into our country.
I mean, that could be part of the scam too, of how do we sell these H-1B visas to the American people, right? More elegantly than Elon Musk and oh man, I almost forgot his name, Vivek Ramaswamy. Yep, WeWork.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, you also got to think I think it would be a great program to send American workers to other countries to train, because there's also value in exporting your culture. We are, as Americans, on a culturally defensive footing. Our American culture is being degraded, and it's what is pushing so many Americans into what the mainstream is considering extremist views, because, you know, the world you grow up in no longer existed, that kind of meme. And the way to combat that is to send Americans out into the world. Before the Great Depression, it was very common to send Americans, especially your middle-class Americans that were going to college or to very highly technical jobs, to send them abroad for some amount of time. And the remnant of that, you experienced the remnant of that with study abroad. But it was very, very common for those who could to go abroad and basically export American culture. And I think that's a really good policy to do that.
Yeah.
But instead, we're going to bring H-1B visas here and import global culture.
And I didn't just study abroad. I studied a few of them. Sorry, I'm a
You're
dad
a father now.
I'm a dad
Dan.
now. I can make those jokes.
That was a good one.
Apologize.
Okay, so she's been critical of Trump in this way. Now we're going to shift from the divide between MAGA and American First and all of these kind of political spats that we've observed within the Republican Party. We're going to shift away from that into the more rhetorical side of things, where she, after Trump started attacking her, said, hey, this isn't cool. This could put me in danger. So, of course, you could predict that Dana Bash is going to say, well, weren't you a part of this dangerous rhetoric in the past?
I was, but I'm reformed now.
Yes, exactly.
Don't kirk me.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
Yeah, Trump gets shot in the air, and the news goes, we need to tone down the rhetoric. And that's like just what she said, just in a longer, more rambly way. Tone down the rhetoric.
Yes, but, if you come to the public square of repentance, you have to get your lashes. And Dana now isn't satisfied and is going to bring up some old comments and make Marjorie Taylor Greene face those old comments.
No, what happened was she wasn't expecting Marjorie Taylor Greene to have that response, and the interview was already structured to make her say, but look at what you've said, So that's what the play was, and they're just like...
So you're saying this is just media rigidity.
Exactly. They're like, oh, wow. Well, we still have to play these, so here we go. Old comments.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and okay. I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
She's a changed woman.
She's turning over a new leaf. Okay. Now, we're going to roll this discussion of dangerous rhetoric into a criticism of one of the concerns that Marjorie Taylor Greene has. And this is an attempt to conflate two very distinct things by CNN and Dana Bash. Let's talk about foreign influence.
Okay, so on that, I do want to ask you about something you posted just yesterday on X. You questioned who and what country is putting so much pressure on Trump to keep the Epstein files hidden. And you included a picture about donations from pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC. What are you trying to say there?
I think it's kind of obvious, Dana.
Well, I think it's the question that many Americans are asking, especially when we saw information recently come out in these emails that the Oversight Committee that I serve on has released. And we saw Jeffrey Epstein with ties to Ehud Barak. We saw him making business deals with them, also business deals that involved the Israeli government, and seems to have into their tell agencies. And I think the right question is to ask is, was Jeffrey working for Israel? And I'm proud to say I don't take from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people, and so that's what I was referring to.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying Israel is pushing the President of the United States to cover up the Epstein files? And what evidence do you have that that is the case?
I simply just asked out loud, is there a foreign government? It could be any foreign government, but is a foreign government pushing to keep this covered up? Because people just don't understand the big fight against.
Well, you had AIPAC up there. It was pretty clear which government you were talking about.
Well, then why'd you ask the question, Dana? Why did you ask her?
That I'm questioning that government in particular and questioning any other foreign government.
She literally says, "What did you mean by that?" And then goes, "It was pretty clear." Why do they do that? It's like Tucker Carlson does that too, where he asks questions he already knows the answer to.
It's to see if you can get a clip or a gotcha out of somebody.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The mainstream media, folks. That's why you should listen to just podcasts and never listen to the news. We got you covered.
Oh, well, we're going to continue this attempt to conflate hateful rhetoric with calling out foreign influence. And Dana Bash, known internet addict, is going to bring up Fuentes and free speech.
Here we go.
Nick Fuentes.
Of course. I didn't think he meant Roger Fuentes.
Okay, when you're talking about lowering the rhetoric, which is important for everybody to hear from you and all of our elected officials, but there is some concern, a lot of concern among Republicans about the rise of anti-Semitic hard-right figures in your movement, especially after Tucker Carlson hosted white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his podcast, didn't question Fuentes about his vile language or views. You did speak at a conference hosted by Fuentes back in 2022. You were criticized, and you said then that you didn't know about his views. Well, Fuentes talked to Carlson about that in the interview. Listen to what he said.
Well, again, with Marjorie, I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me. She pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was.
What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I defend every single person's free speech rights. I think that's incredibly important. So I don't apologize for that. And I don't believe in canceling people.
And I think it's important for people like Tucker Carlson and yourself to... and I admire him for interviewing many people as well as exposing a lot of
powerful information.
I hear what you're saying.
He does on his show.
I hear what you're saying about free speech. I mean, count me as guilty as a proponent of free speech. There's free speech, and then there is hate speech. And
No,
this is a
there's
man
not. No, there's not.
invited on a really prominent conservative show who said, even during that interview, he had a problem with, quote, organized Jewry, and he wasn't challenged on it. In the past, he has denied the Holocaust, called Adolf Hitler effing cool, talked about the fact that he thought Jim Crow was just fine, and on and on. So again, there's free speech, and then there's just hateful language and sentiments.
There's not. It's free speech. Sorry, even if you don't like it.
You know, there's something about trying to make a distinction, trying to conflate. Okay, so there's something about trying to conflate two things and then making the obvious distinction between them when you say, I'm for this, but no, I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows. When Trump came out and Barbie, no, not Barbie, the other one. Who's the secretary? No, the blonde lady. Can't think of her name.
The dog killer.
No, not the dog killer. The blonde lady. I forget her name.
Pam Bondi.
Pam Bondi. When she came out and Trump came out and said there was a distinction between hate speech and free speech, this very show said, nope, there is not. You are wrong. And now the left is also trying to use that just to score points here. Count me in as a supporter of free speech, but not hate speech. And it's like, well, you're not a supporter of hate speech or free speech.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't. That's not how it works.
Thank you.
But this, I need to point this out, and this is a very serious point to make, and it's something that I don't know if you can combat, but this is exactly how phrases and terms in the political realm get co-opted. It starts here with saying, well, count me as a defender of free speech, mister, but not hate speech. It starts with that. And then in 2, 3, maybe 5 years, free speech will mean polite speech.
Right. And not, yeah. And then you become Canada or the UK, where cops knock on your door because you posted something that's offensive. Like, if you sense something is racist in England, you can get somebody fined or arrested.
Yeah.
That's
already
insane.
that's already starting here with things that are seen as threatening.
Right. There's something, we'll probably cover it later, about Mexico that there's an aspect of what happened in Mexico that has a certain group up in arms about speech. But yeah, no, I agree. It is happening here. Same group.
I wonder which group.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So let's wrap this up. This is just going to be more of the same here, but I included it just to drive the point home. But this is our wrap for MTG on CNN.
Well, Dana, again, I told you on this interview that I'm committed to ending the toxic politics, and I think I don't want to have anything to do with it. You should have Nick Fuentes on your show, and you could ask him questions about that. I myself am not anti-Semitic. I have never criticized the Jewish people or said anything about them in particular. I am critical of the government of Israel, and I can criticize any government I want to in the entire world, as well as our own. And a lot of the times I am criticizing our own government for failing the American people. And I think that needs to be the focus, and that's the most important thing people care about, is being able to afford groceries, housing, health insurance, and having a good quality of life.
Yeah.
That is why Trump...
organized jury.
And organized jury. That's why Trump won the 2024 election, is those couple of things right there. And how many times did we ad nauseum say it about the price of bread, the price of gas? That's what's going to drive it. So that is what people care about. But I'll let the clip continue. I just wanted to point out that I agree with old MTG on that one.
I hear you saying you're not anti-Semitic, and you've said it before, and some of the posts that you have put up, which you have apologized for, certainly have tropes in them that have been used historically against Jews. But I do want to end this conversation with a question to you, and that is, do you see a situation where you and President Trump can make up? And if not, do you think you have a future in the GOP?
In Kiev?
Well, I certainly hope that we can make up. And there's, again, I can only speak for myself. I'm a Christian, and one of the most important parts of our faith is forgiveness. And that's something I'm committed to. That's why I can easily come on your show that is watched all over the world, and I can say things I'm sorry for, and I can try to set an example of how I think we should move forward as Americans. And so, of course, on my end, I believe in that, and I certainly hope to see that happen.
No.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, I appreciate you coming on this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dana.
She apologized and went on CNN. There's no way that's ever going to happen. She's done.
I don't know. Do you think she's a loner now, or do you think she's still going to remain a champion for America?
My computer's acting
There
funny.
is a Uh-oh.
Give me 15 seconds here. And you got Crispy, by the way, if you want to take care of that.
Put a marker down. What?
You got Crispy.
Ah.
We're back.
What'd you say?
Ask that question again.
Well, do you think she's a loner now, or do you think she will remain a champion of America first?
I don't know if she's got the star power, I don't know if there's enough people that are saying, I like what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying for her to be kind of a champion. I don't think she's ever going to be anything more than her current position.
Maybe not. And the difficult thing here is through his negotiations on the world stage, Trump has done some things that you could technically say are not America first. So you can't at times be America first and behind Donald Trump 100%. So you kind of have to pick, and there's a lot of overlap, of course, but sometimes you have to pick, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, being a domestic representative and not a member of the executive branch, picks her domestic constituency.
And it makes sense.
And Trump just can't take it. He can't take the criticism. So he calls her a traitor, and you get her on CNN saying, this is dangerous.
Dangerous rhetoric. Oh, bring me through. Give me my 40 lashes. Tell me what I've said, and I'll apologize. That is funny. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think she's got enough. People don't like MTG enough to say, I'm going to side with her over Donald J. Trump. A lot of people have soured on Trump. I've seen it firsthand. I think he's just all right, in my perspective. He's okay. But well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what goes down.
Just okay, Don.
Well,
hey, while we've got a little bit of a segue here, I will not be here for next week's show.
That'll be interesting. Maybe I'll try to do a solo show. Who knows?
It's kind of fun. Just make sure you have a better way to manage your tabs than I did.
See, I don't know. How did you play your clips when you did the solo show?
Both through MP3 files I had downloaded and cut, and through the browser.
I see. Yeah, you need like a dedicated player. It gets tough when you're doing digital routing kind of software type stuff, but when you have a mixing board, I'm thinking.
Well, I think all of my clips played.
Yeah, it was good. I listened to a lot of it. I thought it was a good show. And so did people. We've gotten donations commending you on your 192 episode that you did solo.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think you would too. It's just a matter of if you will have time.
That's right.
Given the current state of your household.
Well, we'll see. It might be. It's going to be short if there is a show. It'll be short next week. So.
You say that. I thought mine was going to be short, and it ended up being like an hour 50.
That's pretty short.
Oh, well, compared to the two of us talking, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, happy trails. What are you doing? Are you going to disclose what you're doing next week, or are you keeping that?
I will
personal?
when we get back.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll get a full travel report.
Perfect. Ooh.
Week after next.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we'll miss you. But
I'm going to investigate Southern Spear.
That would be intense. Boots on the ground.
I think so.
A just cause mission.
Yes, a just cause mission. I'm going to a speedboat convention in the Caribbean.
Oh boy, look out from above. Don't have any suspicious packages on board. Okay, well, while we're talking about...
Everyone has withdrawn from the cargo category.
That's right. Well, I hope that's not the case. I don't want to have to see one of these videos on Twitter and realize that that's bits and pieces of John G. Do spread out
I
all
hope
over the ocean.
that you would lead a revolution and overthrow the entire United States government in my name.
Best I can do is bulldozer modification.
Well, that's just you playing.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I'll see what I do. If you get blown up on a boat off of South America, I will give it a college try at overthrowing the U.S. government.
Think of what's in it for you.
Certain death. Oh, will do. So while we're talking about U.S., I did have this clip from the DW concerning designations of a specific group. So you had talked about when we had designated Antifa a domestic terrorist group. And
yes.
I think somebody within the admin might be on the offensive because this came from the DW this week, and it is about foreign terrorist designations for groups similar to Antifa.
The United States has announced it's declaring 4 groups based in Europe to be foreign terrorist organizations. They include one group from Germany called Antifa Ost. The other groups are from Italy and Greece. In a statement on X, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, "Today, building on POTUS's historic commitment to uproot Antifa's campaign of political..."
Did he just break into some sort of majestic speaker talk there?
Today, building on
POTUS.
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 But I'll back it up.
President of the United States, POTUS.
Yes, but listen to how he's speaking, and then when he reads the decree, how he sounds, like mockingish. Here,
okay.
Backing it up.
In a statement on X, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, "Today, building on POTUS's historic commitment to uproot Antifa's campaign of political violence, the Department of State is designating 4 Antifa groups as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists. The United States will continue using all available tools to protect our nation from these anti-American, anti-capitalist, and anti-Christian terrorist groups."
There it is again.
Well, let's get some analysis now from Tyson Barker with the Atlantic Council.
That's the same
guy. This is a note. Yeah, this is a note for our artists out there. I want Marco Rubio in a powdered wig reading a scroll.
AI these days, it should be pretty easy. I'd like that.
Pretty easy to do. Okay, continue. And wait. If you're listening live and you're not familiar with our shtick here, we use new art for each episode, and you could submit artwork to John at MMO.show, JOHN, and Dan at MMO.show, DAHN. Kidding, DAN at MMO.show. And we will maybe use your art, and you will be credited as the art producer for episode 194 of the Millennial Media Offensive until the sun erupts and burns the entire planet to a crisp. So, send us your art. All we require is that it has the name of the show spelled correctly and maybe our names on it somewhere. But yeah, you can compete to be the featured artist of each show.
And you can put that on your resume, and they'll say, "What is that?" And then they'll listen to it, and you will not get that job. So, there you go.
Well, let's get some analysis now from Tyson Barker with the Atlantic Council here in Berlin. Tyson, why do you think the U.S. has made this move now against European Antifa groupings?
Why, Tyson?
Well, I would assume that a lot of this comes in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the interest in the White House to try to designate a network of financiers and activists outside the pale of democratic discourse in the United States. They've pointed to Antifa, they've pointed to George Soros. A lot of it has to do with the Hungarian playbook, some things that we've seen in Hungary.
The Hungarian
of course,
playbook.
Antifa Ost, one of the German designated Antifa grouping, was also previously designated as a terrorist organization in Hungary. And of course, we just recently had the visit of the Hungarian prime minister to Washington, so that probably also raised this issue on the agenda.
So there you go. Antifa Ost, which is just Antifa East in German. It was designated, and then two other groups. I've got the declaration. I'll drop that in the...
Yeah, we talked about one from Italy when I made this presentation about how there's plenty of evidence to designate this as a foreign terrorist organization. What they're doing here is the first step in designating the American branch of Antifa, and some other organizations that you probably never heard of will come out and be designated as FTOs as well when they link the financing of these organizations that you're hearing about now to the ones that operate in America.
I love, and this is state.gov. It says, Antifa Ost conducted numerous attacks against individuals it perceives as, and in quotes, fascists, or part of the, and in quotes again, right-wing scene in Germany. I love that. So
you're telling me there are emo right-wingers?
Yes. There are. The right-wing scene. That's a cool leather jacket. Yeah, part of the right-wing scene. Get on board. The DW then proceeds this next 2-minute clip, and I titled this "Weenie Butt Questions and Answers" because it's it's in that vein of, well, why do you think this is happening? And then just people giving their completely ungrounded takes that are based on their own political biases. So I'll let it play.
Now, condemning Antifa groups has been a hallmark of the
Trump
administration.
Kind of like an ideology, isn't it?
The beginning, since Trump's first presidency. Tell us more about where this is coming from, Tyson.
Where is it coming from?
This guy has so many affectations.
One thing that has been particularly vexing for the administration in their attempt to kind of create, let's say, an equivalency between Antifa and, say, Hamas or some right-wing extremist groups is the lack of organization. I mean, Antifa, both in the United States and globally, is not really an entity as such. It's not a kind of organization. It's much more of a loose grouping of symbols and affinities without the kind of leadership or financial networks that would normally be necessary to designate an organization as a foreign terrorist organization. I would assume that what they've used...
Wait a second. So you're telling me there are symbols and affinities?
Loose affectations.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see now. Well, of course, these are just random people who coincidentally believe the same thing and take the same actions.
And dress the same way. They wear the same uniform. Yeah. Not organized, though, John. There's no leader. You can't point to a leader. Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden. ISIS, Al-Julani, but not Antifa. They don't have
no Jihadi John.
There's no guy you can point to. Jihadi John, yes. Al-Bugar Baghdadi or whatever his name is. Don't at me. Yeah. So we'll continue with the wiener butt question and answers.
Or financial networks that would normally be necessary to designate an organization as a foreign terrorist organization. I would assume that what they've used to make these designations are obviously the forensics of other states like Hungary, and perhaps some very, very low-level financing, for example, for paying for bails, around activists to try to get them out of jails. But ultimately, this is a strategic attempt, political attempt by the administration to elevate the stature of Antifa globally to that of a terrorist extremist organization that perpetuates violence in order to create kind of balance with what we're seeing around right-wing extremist groups, both in the United States and globally.
There you go. This is to say that the left is as violent as these right-wing groups that we're seeing publicly assassinate people and, poets shooting presidents in the face and, these right-wing
poets,
Nazis.
Notoriously right-wing.
Exactly. or when the right-wing people are getting up on roofs after being with their trans boyfriend and shooting left-wing political commentators in the neck.
Yes, that just stuff. Go around to college campuses and speak very politely and kindly to everyone.
Yeah, so this is the Trump administration's attempt at trying to make the left seem violent, like the right is.
Ooh, don't forget the right wingers that believe they're trapped in the wrong body and go to schools and kill children.
I forgot about those ones. Yes.
Yeah. That's a good strand of right winger.
It happens a lot. You see it everywhere.
And then you've got. I'll leave that one alone.
Okay. I have a feeling where I might have known, but I'll play the last weenie butt question.
And Tyson, in terms of like what this means in practical terms, can we expect then the U.S. to launch operations here in Europe against these groups?
Yeah.
I think more likely is that they will be watching for any types of financial forensics. So if people do pay bails or provide financing for symbols or organization around protests, that might be subject to intelligence gathering and perhaps some prosecutorial action. But I don't think that we would necessarily see active, pursuit in European territory.
Tyson, thank you very much, as always. Tyson Barker from the Atlantic Council here in Berlin.
Thank you.
He says that, and then you see a flotilla get blown up, and everything's thrown out.
Yeah, they're gonna hellfire the gay pride parades.
That's right. Greta Thunberg. Oh my God, we thought she was Antifa. Turns out she was just autistic.
Yes. Speaking of organized riots and whatnot, let's talk about Mexico.
See.
I've got one report, and then I think we can piggyback off of this into some discussion unless you have more clips. But I have an NBC report on the riots.
Perfect.
Tonight, there are growing questions into a surge of youth-led protests taking place across major cities in Mexico. The demonstrations reaching a fever pitch over the weekend as some hooded protesters tore down fences around the National Palace, home to President Claudia Sheinbaum. Images from the clashes show riot police using tear gas and smoke bombs. Tonight, there are growing questions into a surge of youth-led protests taking place across major cities.
I think we have the same report, and I accidentally played mine.
The demonstrations reaching a fever pitch over the weekend as some hooded protesters tore down fences around the National Palace, home to President Claudia Sheinbaum. Images from the clashes show riot police using tear gas and smoke bombs. Trying to calm the crowds, seen here kicking the fence and throwing rocks at officers. Mexico City's public safety secretary saying the protests left at least 120 injured, 100 of them officers, some who were taken to the hospital. The rallies organized by Generation Z Mexico, referring to the demographic group of people born between 1997 and 2012. The 16-year-old injured during the protest telling Telemundo, "The people are dying, the people are disappearing. For it to get to the point where minors are here protesting, it's because the country is horrible." Protesters using a popular symbol, the pirate flag from the anime One Piece, seen in Gen Z protests around the globe, including ones in Nepal and Madagascar, which ended in the ousting of heads of state. This protester saying the Gen Z groups organized themselves on Discord. While President Sheinbaum saying this week the protests didn't arise organically with the youth, but were part of a $90 million campaign by her opponents. But back on the streets, this young man saying the movement isn't affiliated with any party, just an ideology for a better Mexico. The unrest fueled by recent violence, including the death of Carlos Manzo, a mayor who was assassinated in public during a Day of the Dead celebration earlier this month, known for declaring war on the cartels and his criticism of the federal government for lack of action. protesters wearing cowboy hats in his honor. This protester saying she is seeking justice for his death and all those who have lost their lives and their property at the hands of criminals.
All of these protesters are older, it should be noted. They're more middle-aged, the ones wearing the cowboy hats, than the ones storming the presidential palace and writing things like Punta Juda on the palace.
Puta Judia.
Punta Judia.
Puta. Puta Judia.
Puta. Puta. Puta.
Puta Judia means, and I actually, Bully Steed we were chatting earlier, and I said Puta Judia because I saw it in the meme. And she said Jewish whore, ? And I corrected her and I said Jewish bitch, which is not a swear word because it's a name for a female dog. But it turns out puta is oftentimes used for those two, yeah. So it is Jewish whore is the intended message there with Puta Judia. And it was, evidently a bunch of people in the Jewish community of Mexico strongly condemns the anti-Semitic remarks and expressions. I don't know if Puta Julia is anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? Like, if you're calling somebody, like if she was white, right? If she was just white and elected president of Mexico, if you called her a puta blanca, I don't think people would call that as any sort of prejudice or whatsoever. It's just acknowledging that somebody's a part of something and then calling them a bad name after that isn't anti-Semitism necessarily.
No, but it is. It is. It's the same concept of racism that has permeated intellectual and even public discourse, where pointing out that someone is a part of a marginalized class is in and of itself an indication of racism or bigotry.
Well, so I'll tell you, I've given this example on the podcast before, where when somebody like cuts me off in traffic or does something that I don't like, I look for the most identifiable characteristic of them, and then I call them, like a swear word. So a fat woman cuts me off, it's you fat B, or a black woman cuts me off, it's you black B. And I don't mean that as racist. I'm just directing my rage at how I identify you, in that snap moment. So I don't know. But I mean, it falls in the line of things that the Jewish community would find anti-Semitic, because, that's a forever changing and shifting ideology of what is and what is not anti-Semitic. Has Dave Portnoy weighed in on this?
He's on a special mission right now to go give all of the pizza parlors in Mexico City a 10 out of 10.
Extra pesos on my taco, por favor. Yeah, I don't know. That's funny, but the symbolism there is the same. The flags and whatnot. You have the different groups. So this guy that was killed, the guy in the cowboy hat, was against the cartel. When we were looking at this election last year between Claudia Sheinbaum and the other lady, it was agreed that she was kind of the predecessor to the current president, and he had struck kind of a, take no action towards the cartel position, and that's probably why he was allowed to be president and not killed. And Claudia Sheinbaum followed in kind of his shoes. And I think that's what you're seeing now with the protests. Are saying, first of all, a lot of the Mexican people are saying, this woman is not us. She's not, she doesn't have a Virgin Mary or Mother of Guadalupe candle in her house.
Right.
She's nothing like our culture. She's not, and all the articles say, oh, she's the first Jewish president of Mexico. Yeah, it is because the country of Mexico is 95% Catholic. And the fact that there's a Jewish woman at the head of it is suspicious as all can be. And I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic. I'm just trying to point out statistics.
Or put another way, be anti-Semitic.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The Anti-Semitic Podcast, MMO.
Well, at least we're not anti-statistic.
That's right. Pro-statistic.
Well, we did not guess correctly that, and you should take most of what we say here as jokes, by the way.
Yeah.
We did not guess. It's very dry, but most of it is in a jovial manner. We did not guess that the one-piece flag would show up in Mexico next. We got that one wrong. Do you think this one goes as far as some of the other one-piece protests?
I mean, the other ones where the Gen Zs actually then dictated politics and forced the military junta. No, I don't think it went as far as that goes. But I think there's been, first of all, did we come to the conclusion that it's us behind these?
No, I don't think we came to that conclusion necessarily.
I think we had an inkling. We put it out there that we thought it could be us involved a little bit. We brought up a couple of organizations that were responsible for it. Youth Against Corruption was the big one in Madagascar, I think was when we pointed that out. And then they kept happening all over. And now Mexico. I have a feeling that these protests are viewed on the left more so than the right in general. I know we're kind of pro, this is kind of cool and let's do it. But I think more so on the left, people are looking at this and saying, wow, we need that here in the U.S. There's got to be at least a group that's saying this is a model for us. We need to do that here.
I seem to remember that we couldn't really tell who was behind it based on the places it had happened. Do we have a map? Didn't we have a map of where these had happened?
We had gone through it, and I had a list at one point of the different leanings of these political leaders. So a lot of them were more so aligned with kind of the BRICS, more eastwardly aligned where this was happening. And I think Claudia Sheinbaum kind of fits in that, where she's more of this socialistic type left-wing leader in Mexico. And the protests are kind of against her and against that, or at least her handling of like the cartel and all the violence that's going on. So I don't know if there's a little bit of conflation here, because you do point out that it's the younger kids that are spray painting and rioting, and it's the older people that are wearing the cowboy hats and walking down the street with signs. So there is like a distinction and a difference there. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anytime something happens on our doorstep like this, it's very interesting because I don't think we really had trouble with the leadership of Mexico. I think it was a tenable situation for the cartels to be basically in a balance of power situation with the government.
And I found out that currently today we are running ops out of Mexico, both Mexico City and in Baja California. We have an agreement with the Mexican government, and we have actual military boots on the ground in Mexico City and Baja California intercepting and going like full hot, shooting gunfights with cartel members in those regions. There's a really good guy. Yeah, it's called Cappy. His channel is called Cappy Army. On YouTube, and he goes into the agreements that we have with Mexico, and I'll pull some clips for maybe next week's show. I'll focus on that a little bit because his videos are quite long, but they're very good. Again, that's Cappy Army, which I instantly hate anybody that has Army in their name. I think he's ex-military though, so it makes sense. But he goes in and talks about how we share intelligence with Mexico, and Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum's actual government, has agreed to us allowing us to do these operations, specifically in Baja California, which is that little pinky of Mexico on the west coast. And there's some distinct ports. I think Ensenada is one, and I forget the other one, but effectively it's known that the cartel loads up boats from these ports and these locations and submarines and sends them over to the U.S. border that way. So the cocaine prices in the U.S. are indeed going to go up because it looks like we're doing a pretty good job of stemming a lot of the flow under the Trump administration, that is.
Okay. Do you think there's a situation in which the Gen Z protests get so far in Mexico and they are not aligned with American interests so that Southern Spear becomes more like
Southern Nuke?
Southern Hammer?
I don't know. We've always had... Now, I don't know when this started, but I think NAFTA came up as a part of it as we initially entered NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, which has been replaced by Trump, and I forget what we call it now. We entered that during a weird political time for Mexico, where it seemed like if we didn't help Mexico, the whole country might be destabilized, and we'd have a bunch of people showing up at the border wall, and not just the amount of people that are coming over today, but entire cities of people fleeing Mexico into the U.S., and that was the whole point of originally signing NAFTA, if I recall history correctly, which, I mean, I have spent the last 4 or 5 years trying to re-examine everything that I held as fact because of a lot of interesting things that were coming to light. But I don't know. I don't know if that is going to be it. I think, if anything, we're further away from a destabilized Mexico. Like, if Claudia Sheinbaum were to be pulled out and beheaded or I don't know what you would do, and replaced, and there was like a military junta in Mexico, I think that we'd probably be in a better shape than we are today, currently. But boots on the ground in Mexico, as far as... we would probably load up our border, I think. I don't think we'd ever be going to the lengths that we're going in Venezuela right now. That being said...
well, since you mentioned Venezuela, why don't we talk about Venezuela?
Okay. The Southern Spear?
The Southern Spear. I have, I think, a few clips here.
Let's play yours.
This is Representative Bill Haggerty discussing what's next in Venezuela on Fox News.
Things are happening quickly in the Caribbean. The Secretary of War named the military operation down there Southern Spear, and President Trump has reportedly been briefed twice this week on options to strike inside Venezuela.
I sort of have made up my mind, yeah. I mean, I can't tell you what it would be, but I sort of made up my mind.
Our next guest, Senator Bill Haggerty of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator Haggerty, how much longer are we going to have 15,000 soldiers and sailors off the coast of Venezuela before something happens?
Well, I think what's going to happen is we're going to see the flow of drugs coming into this country dramatically reduced. I think President Trump is sending an incredibly important message. We've got 15,000 troops there. The USS Gerald Ford just moved into range there. That's an aircraft carrier and the destroyers with it. That's an impressive strike group. I think we're going to demonstrate we're not going to allow these drug cartels to move across our southern border. We've done everything we can to stop the human trafficking, the drug trafficking that's coming across land. Listen, they are killing 3,000 youth in my home state every year of drug overdose. The largest killer of young people in America between the ages of 18 and 45, drug overdose, 100,000 young people every year in America are dying from drug overdoses. President Trump is taking this very seriously. He's designated these narco-terrorists. He's going after them, and I think they need to get the message. And the amount of pressure that he's putting on the region right now, again, they're all in international waters. Let me be clear. They're in international waters. They're not operating in inside of any country's boundaries. But what they're doing is demonstrating our resolve, strong resolve, to stop the flow of drugs into this country, to stop the murder of young people here in America.
Okay.
I do think that is one of the messages. Did you know that Maduro and the U.S. government, they come to certain agreements, but just not pleasing enough?
I knew there was some discussion, but I'm not up to speed.
So Maduro has agreed to help qualm some of the drug stuff, but one of the agreements, too, is also him stepping down as the leader of Venezuela, and he's kind of like not going for that. And when he kind of stepped away from the table and saying, I'm not going to step down, that's when we have this past week where it seems like Operation Spear or Southern Spear has come together. That was sort of the catalyst for it, was Maduro stepping away and saying, no, I'm not going to step down as president or dictator of Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine he would. But, you know, this is, the conversation quickly gets turned to drugs, and we've mentioned this. This has been, the bulk of our conversation has been around these boats and the drugs and the narrative that this is a drug-related operation. This is all about the drugs. And I alluded to this briefly, but I'm still wondering, why Venezuela if it's about drugs? Venezuela is a transit country.
Well,
so yeah, I get blowing up the boats in the Caribbean because they're in international waters and you basically have no repercussions there. But if you're thinking about targeting land-based assets, you would be looking at places like Colombia.
Well, because Colombia can go in through Central America, up and through there. I think one of the other things we also highlighted was a little boy from Cuba with his dream of being the completely owning and taking over all of South America, and he goes by the name of Marco.
Yes, he does. That is always worth remembering, that he has always been a Southern hawk.
Yep. So I think it's kind of Marco's way of, and I think he pitched it to Trump of saying, look, we can stem these awful drugs. You know, Trump there's old videos of him and his son, Barron, talking about no drinking, no smoking, no cigarettes, no nothing. Basically, he's always been kind of like anti-drug or doing all this stuff. Meanwhile, Don Jr.'s definitely doing nose candy when he's out there hunting elk. I can tell you that much. But Venezuela, I think, is that's how he sold it to Trump, is saying, you know, this is where the drugs are coming off. They're flowing through the ocean up through to Miami, and we got to stop there. But if you look at it now, Marco Rubio being from Cuba, it's got to be about pride and owning that Caribbean Sea, saying this is our sea. This is Marco's Sea.
Yes, Marco's Sea. I also can't help but think that if you're going to talk about the impetus behind this being drug overdoses, you're only accounting for about 80% of drug overdoses if you're talking about illicit drugs, and the other 20% is going to be pharmaceutical related. So are we going to discuss that, or are we just going to say, well, this is kind of just a rhetorical device, don't look too far into that?
80-20. You take out 80%, everyone calls it a success. Specifically, if they're coming from the tons of drugs triangle.
Yes, of art fame.
No, that's right. Episode 184, submitted by Woof.
Okay, well, to that question, I've got a clip here titled, Why Not Other Countries?
Marco's like, but wait, there's more.
And like you were just talking about, on paper, this Southern Spear is all about drugs, but the focus is not on other places right now with big drug problems like Colombia and Mexico. It's just Venezuela. Why is that?
Well, I think what we're doing is demonstrating, again, resolve with a country that is operating way beyond any bounds of normality. Maduro is a thug. Maduro is essentially a terrorist. He's emptied his jails into America. You think about Trinidad Agra operating in my state and across this nation. President Trump is sending a very strong message to this nation to stop it, to put it, to put this back in the box and quit preying on America.
And to the point, Colombia does kind of work with us. Now, Venezuela does not, or had not historically, until we amassed a bunch of troops on the border and Maduro goes, yeah, our guns are from the World War I era. We don't stand a chance. Colombia works with us. I saw today that Ecuador, the people had voted against reopening U.S. military bases in their country. So there might be something there for them next. And Ecuador, of course, being just south of Colombia. And so Venezuela and Ecuador kind of flank Colombia on the side, and Colombia connects to Panama. So, I mean, if you're not already, or don't, my board's not working. Look at a map.
Yeah, definitely look at a map for this. I hate to just throw out the trope of, this is about oil, because I'm not so sure that it is. You could be right. It could just be that Maduro doesn't work with us. But geographically speaking, Venezuela would be a beautiful place to have naval assets stationed if you're going to try to keep naval and land-based assets if you're going to try to keep a firm grip on the hemisphere.
Oh, absolutely. China is making inroads in South America. They've been trying to, Chile, which I've got a segment on Chile, is pretty much voting on their future of their country today or in December now with this runoff election between a left-wing and a right-wing candidate. So it's basically a fight for the soul of South America from the perspective of, are they going to be Western aligned or are they going to be Eastern aligned? And China has been spending as much money as possible trying to get them to be Eastern aligned and trying to make the United States its own island out there, completely alone.
Yes, and we made some inroads in South America by buying out Millet, basically, recently.
Yep.
So this could very well just be a hemispheric influence project. Take care of the troublemaker, make an example of him, and then everybody else, you better look at those Chinese investments pretty closely.
Right. We even got the Ecuador guy. The Ecuador guy is considered, I think, kind of left-wing, but we got him to build the Supermax prison, and he's on board with it. And so Maduro is the only holdout, and it happens to be the northernmost tip of South America. And so I think that's kind of it. And then the Amazons, they're not going to do anything. They have no infrastructure. All they have is coca plants and mountains. So you've got pretty much all of South America conquered from a Western perspective. Chile, I think, is going to go by way of West in this election.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it makes sense. They're in our hemisphere, so that would be the logical thing geopolitically for them to trend toward. But you never know.
You never know.
I keep wondering what we're going to do with Cuba. Is Cuba just a non-issue in this day and age? Do we just let it be to not have an international crisis or an international spout of outrage on our hands?
Well, Cuba's great because it is oftentimes what people use to confirm that communism indeed can succeed, because the literacy rate of Cuba is something like 95%. However, the poverty and starvation rate of Cuba is just as high. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think Marco would love to take Cuba, but there's really no political game. I mean, what do you get? Mojitos, rum.
Yeah, it's more. It would be more of a prestige token.
All of the smart ones are in Miami. All of the best of Cuban culture is in Miami. I know people that have gone to Cuba and they're like, it's kind of a dump.
Yeah, I think its time has passed.
Yep. Even the Russians were like, yeah, we're not sending anything to Cuba anymore.
Yes, in the age of ICBMs, who needs Cuba?
That's true. Oh man, when I think about the Cuban Missile Crisis, that's kind of insane. Do you know how that was solved? The Western narrative was that Russia had planted this nuke in Cuba and aimed it right at the U.S. And everyone was like, why would they do this? And they did it because we had placed a nuke, I think it was in like Finland or one of these northern regions, and pointed it right at Moscow. And the Cuban Missile Crisis was solved by Kennedy because Kennedy agreed to remove that, pointed at Moscow, and Moscow was like, okay, we'll remove that as well. And that was how it was solved. So, I don't know. But you make
such a
point.
difficult crisis.
Exactly. Of our own doing. So we'll see. But I did tease the Chilean presidential election that's going on. They had the first round of voting, and they named two people in this clip. What I thought was kind of comical, what made me chuckle, was how they described the political parties and where they fell on the spectrum of left versus right. So I'll play this clip from the DW, of course.
Chileans will head to the ballot box on Sunday to elect a new president. For the first time since 2012, voting will be mandatory. Those who do not vote face a fine. Chile's governing leftist coalition is up against a array of right-wing challengers at a time when concerns over immigration and crime are at the top of voters' minds.
Chile is often seen as one of the safest countries in the region, but the perception of a lack of public safety has increased as international criminal gangs have moved in. These include the infamous Tren de Aragua organization from Venezuela. Previously almost unknown in Chile, crimes like extortion and kidnapping are spreading. More than a third of such cases are linked to organized crime. Public safety has been at the center of this year's presidential election campaign. 8 candidates are competing in the first round. Polls show the most likely ones to get through to the second round are the Communist Party's Ginette Jara, who represents the center-left, and right-wing candidates, including far-right contenders José Antonio Cast and Johannes Kaiser.
So the Communist Party candidate, is considered center-left. Meanwhile, anyone right of that is far right or hard right.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah, well, knowing that everyone has to vote or be fined, I think the communist is going to win.
That is interesting, and she did do the best in the initial election. The runoff, I think 2 or 3 people qualified, and it was the communist lady and then 2 of the far-right parties. So if they want to not see, the communist elected, one of the far-right should bow out and might. The election is going to be held in December.
Did you just say if they want to not see the communist elected?
That's good. Yes, not see the communist. So there's a chance. There's a chance that Chile goes the right way, but who knows? I actually have, through marriage, an uncle that is Chilean. He now lives in Canada, though. So.
Well, let's hop over to Africa, shall we?
We shall. Now, I have to ask you, is this a small African package or?
Yes, it is a smaller African package. I have 2 clips, perhaps an average African package.
But definitely not. Oh my gosh. Now large African package is not working. What are we going to do? Oh, well.
That's a clip that Dan sometimes plays, and a jingle for those of you who have that has been lost on.
Yes.
Yes, his jingle is failing. Yes. So my African clips start with a report out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, you will remember that the God Emperor Trump himself brokered a peace between M23 and the DRC. And now that peace was brokered, we get this report about artisanal cobalt.
Artisanal, small batch cobalt.
Democratic Republic of Congo says it has produced its first 1,000 metric tons of traceable artisanal cobalt, or some 2,200 pounds. That's a key step in formalizing the sector in a country that supplies the vast majority of the world's battery metal. State-owned mining subsidiary Entreprise Générale du Cobalt, or EGC, announced the milestone on Thursday in Congo's mineral heartland, Kolwezi. CEO Eric Kalala said their vision is to transform artisanal cobalt into a strategic asset under Congolese control.
We have now put in place a solution to control our Congolese artisanal cobalt and also ensure better pay and better working conditions for artisanal miners. I think that EGC is truly a tool of sovereignty for our country because this artisanal production is the most important production it controls.
Congo holds about 72% of global cobalt reserves and accounts for over 74% of supply, much of it from informal artisanal mines. Artisanal mining is a lifeline for the country. It's estimated to employ up to 2 million people and support more than 10 million people indirectly. However, cobalt from the sector is largely unregulated, making it hard to track and vulnerable to government confiscations. That uncertainty reduces the amount of ethically sourced material and pushes up prices for traceable cobalt. Global demand for the mineral is forecast to rise 40% by 2030, driven by demand for electric vehicles and energy storage, according to the International Energy Agency. Automakers and electronics firms increasingly require proof of ethical sourcing, putting pressure on producers to cut out child labor and unsafe practices. EGC said its traceability model will clean up the supply chain and align production with international environmental, social, and governance standards. Congo introduced export quotas in October to curb oversupply and support prices following a months-long export ban. Cobalt prices have since sharply rebounded, more than doubling this year.
And by the way, this is all compliments of Trash Man, who sent this combination of information to us, and I'm pulling all of this from the links that he sent to me specifically. I'm seeing now. Not only do you get the first batch of artisanal, and by the way, you can substitute subsistence whenever you hear artisanal mining anywhere in places like the DRC. But anyway, you also get this report from Reuters, November 7th. Congo suspends activities at Chinese mine after spill.
So China's got a Chinese operating mine, and we've got a couple of people out there with shovels.
Yes, we have artisans, Dan.
Artisanal. Such a funny word for this guy is literally digging holes so he can eat.
Yeah, basically. This Congo Dongfang International Mining, or CDM, which mainly sources copper and cobalt from the Central African country, is a unit of another Chinese company, and the spill that caused Congo to shut down that mining site has affected several neighborhoods. Because everyone knows that you just have neighborhoods around cobalt and copper mines. But yes, I see this as we came in, we said, hey, we'll tell the M23 to get off your back, but we're going to need all of this cobalt. And that Chinese mine over there, you got to find a way to get them out. We don't care how you do it, but they got to go.
I like it.
And then moving over to Nigeria, I have an update on Nigeria. We had another happening in Nigeria, and this is from ABC. And there were reports about this on DW, BBC, CNN. I pulled the ABC report. This is about Nigeria girls kidnapped.
You know, I did hear about this, and I saw this, and I had to wonder. It was clear in the article it wasn't Boko Haram, but it seems convenient that it would happen now. But I'll play.
Police say at least 25 female students are missing after gunmen stormed a boarding school in Nigeria. Officials say the vice principal is dead after the ambush and abduction. Now authorities are trying to find the girls and figure out who's responsible. ABC's foreign correspondent Marcus Moore has the details on that. Hi, Marcus.
Hi, Diane. There is an urgent search and rescue operation underway in Nigeria as I speak to you now. Local police, along with members of the country's military, are looking for the 25 girls who were abducted from their dorm rooms in Kebbi State. That's in the northwestern part of Nigeria. According to police, armed bandits stormed the government-funded secondary school at around 4 o'clock in the morning. The assistant principal was shot and killed. Another staffer, we understand, suffered injuries. Authorities say the bandits scaled the fencing around that school and that the abduction was well underway by the time emergency responders arrived there. According to initial reports, the bandits fired sporadically inside the school before the gunmen escaped with the children to an unknown destination. And at this point, no group has claimed responsibility for this. Now, this most recent kidnapping follows a string of mass abductions in parts of Nigeria. You may recall the infamous kidnapping of 276 schoolgirls from their school back in 2014. The militant group Boko Haram carried out that abduction, and more than a decade later, 82 of those girls are still missing. In fact, according to the United Nations, at least 1,400 children have been abducted from their schools since that incident. And experts say some of them have been taken for ransom, forced marriages, or human trafficking, as well as for prisoner exchanges. And so this is an ongoing issue that officials in Nigeria are under increasing pressure to address. Of course, Diane, right now, there is grave concern for those 25 girls who were abducted on Monday.
All right, Marcus Moore, thank you.
So do we have any inkling of who did this?
I think it's going to be Boko Haram.
At the end of the day, that's who's going to come back and say it. After all of this discussion of there's no Christians. Was it a Christian girls' school? Do we have even that detail?
Oh, no. No details like that. But if you recall, there was global outrage in 2012 over the kidnapping of some girls by one Joseph Kony.
Oh, yeah.
And an outfit named Invisible Children did a 30-minute documentary that went viral.
Kony 2012.
About Joseph Kony. And I can't help but wonder, are we looking for our Kony in Nigeria?
Are we? That is interesting. Didn't the Kony 2012 guy go crazy? Didn't he?
I have no idea.
I think the attention to it, I think he was also the same guy, the guy who did it, is the same guy who started the Ice Bucket Challenge. And then he was losing steam and publicity. He couldn't get the attention of everybody. He kind of died out. And so he got arrested for streaking or something. Like he ripped off his clothes and went streaking. I can't remember if that's correct, but I have a feeling. I think I remember that the same guy who did the Ice Bucket Challenge is the same guy that did Kony 2012.
I don't know about that. Kony 2012 was done by a group called Invisible Children.
Yeah, I think it was Jason Russell, because it focused on a guy who had gone to Nigeria, met somebody, and came back, and that was kind of the focus of it and why Kony was so popular.
Well, I looked into who were the most well-known leaders of Boko Haram, because you never really hear about the leaders of Boko Haram. It's just Boko Haram, which, by the way, do you know what Boko Haram means?
Well, isn't Boko Haram just an idea? No, I don't know.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Let me guess. So in Latin, boca is mouth, and haram, isn't that like any sort of sin in Islam?
I don't know. That's
does it
knowledge
mean
I don't
mouth
have.
sin? Is mouth sin what it means?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
According to the AP, Boko Haram means books are forbidden.
Ah, haram means forbidden, and Boko means books. That makes sense.
Yeah, they reject Western education, which is why they target schools, but they're targeting these schools to repopulate their ranks. They're kidnapping wives.
I see. Oh, so it makes sense that they would, if they're Boko Haram, it would make sense that they would kidnap schoolgirls, girls going to school.
Yeah, because not only are you against schools and want to discourage people from going to school, it's also helpful to have people that can read in your movement.
That makes sense. Western education is forbidden, is what I am seeing Boko Haram.
Yeah, basically books are forbidden, yes.
Unique.
So who knew? Ron DeSantis, member of Boko Haram.
Very good. The old meatball.
Yes. He's banning books.
How do you say meatball Ron in Arabic?
I don't know. But I was looking into who some of the prominent figures in Boko Haram are, just to see if we could get a really good name for a good hashtag, a good viral momentum, some viral momentum going. There's one who's the current Boko Haram leader. His name is Bakura Doro. I think Doro 2026 is a winner.
For another documentary?
Yeah.
I remember that came out, like, I was a freshman in college, and people were, like, printing out Kony 2012s and sticking them to their dorm room doors, and people were like, we should go out and engage in this protest, because they had, like, these massive protests that were going on all over, and that was it. It was not as successful as No Kings.
No. I think Doro 26 is our winner, and someone should see if Doro26.com is available and cheap.
For $12.95, you could have for a year.
Well, that's cheap in the realm of.
Yeah, you could have for a year something that's going to be forgotten by tomorrow. So.
I don't know. If this is the play here, it could be worth a lot of money to the regime.
That's true. That's fair. Very fair. So is that the extent of your package on Africa?
Yes, that's the extent of it. Are you not satisfied?
I thought it was pretty large. Damn it. I thought I fixed it.
Large African package.
There we go.
Large African package.
Now it wants to work too well. What do you think? Should we thank some folks?
I think you should just do it.
Let's do it.
Instead of asking me what I want to do.
That's rape.
Millennial Media.
Offensive.
You are riding along in the offensive every Tuesday night, except, well, next Tuesday I'll be here. I'll do something. But every Tuesday night, John and I hop on the microphone and we deconstruct the news that's going on, try to get to the truth through the layer of BS that is sold to us. And we do so without peppering you with ads or making you buy our products, which we don't have. We do have a merch store. That you can find the link to that on our website. We don't actually make money on it, but it's valuable to us if you're out there wearing an MMO shirt. So we'd love it. But that being said, we rely on donations, information donations, communications, artwork, clips, and then also fiat is one of those ways as well. And it's been fun. It's been successful. I think, John, it hasn't been life altering. We're not quitting our jobs here. I had a meeting with a priest about the baptism of my children, and he asked for my email address, and I gave him the show, and he goes, "Oh, what's your show? Do you do it full time?" And I hung my head and I said, "No, it is a dream. I hope to someday do this full time, but until then, I do not." So that being said, we always like to start off by thanking the person that provided the art from the previous episode, and no surprise here. I can't remember the last time I actually had to look up and was surprised at who did the art, but the art came in from Wolf, and we actually got quite a few compliments on it. So it's a nice piece of the decreasing or the frequency or the large supply of cocaine that is currently headed through France, in large part due to the Navy blowing up anybody that tries to bring it north. It's been redirected to Europe. And France's cocaine prices has quartered in the last couple of years. And so it highlights that. A man eating at a table with an enormous baguette and a large pile of cocaine. I like to think
I thought it was good. I like the style. I like the artistic style. I don't really have any criticism about it. We appreciate the art. And as I said earlier, we're looking forward to seeing the submissions for tonight's show.
Yeah, the gentleman sitting in the tux looks a little bit like the current James Bond, Daniel Craig. But yes,
okay.
Yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. Good job. Thank you very much.
He looks more like the guy on CSI Miami. Is it CSI Miami?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, CSI Miami. That's who he looks like.
That guy who's in a lot of things, but you never know his name.
Yeah, I never knew his name.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, so thank you, Wolf. For
David
that.
Caruso.
He looks like David Caruso.
Yep, David Caruso. Lieutenant Horatio Kane.
It was the maid. She had been poisoning the food the entire time. I always love CSI Miami. It's like the most ridiculous scenarios. So thank you, Wolf. Operators standing by. If you have an art idea for tonight, doesn't have to be Wolf. Could be Chad. No, it can't. Could be Serpent. Could be Bowie Steed. Send something in. It would be appreciated. We'll gladly review it. You have a chance to infamously be the artist of episode 194. We did have some people come in by way of fiat donations, and they went to mmo.show/donate and went to either PayPal or Cash App or Venmo or Strike or sent us a check in the mail, and all of those are available options to you, so check it out if you haven't. But starting off the top of the list comes Millennial Bookkeeper, and she came in through PayPal with $33.33. And she says, "Hey guys, just wanted to say that John did a great job with the solo pod. I laughed, I cried, I planned to donate and then promptly forgot. So here I am a week later." Welcome back, Dan. Congrats and good luck with your sleep deprivation. Thank you very much. It is hard, but the next donator, and Millennial Bookkeeper, glad to hear from you. She's famously of the land down under. So glad that you're still on the offensive. But with my sleep deprivation, this next donator has absolutely aided myself and my wife on that front, and it's Eli the Coffee Guy, who came in with PayPal also with $33.33, and he says, "Great news! Tariffs on coffee have been lifted with the exception of Brazil, which still has a 40% tariff and supplies 30 to 40% of the American coffee supply. I guess they're still sticking it to the bricks." In other great news, we launched our canned coffee. There's a limited window where it's available through Wednesday, November 19th. This is only for No Agenda producers and listeners of the MMO show. Exclusive. The official launch for the rest of the slaves in Gitmo Nation is on Black Friday. So visit gigawattcoffeeroasters.com and grab some fantastic cans of cold brew today. Stay caffeinated and stay on the offensive. Eli, the Coffee Guy. Now, last week, he said he was going to send us cans, and then I think it was Thursday, those cans arrived at my house, and I think it was Friday morning I tried one, And oh my God, it's pretty good. John, I think you are trying one right now on the show.
Yes, I am. I cracked one open as we got started tonight and have been sipping on it. There's a lot left. I'm not trying to finish it tonight because I would like to sleep. But yeah, sugar-free, dairy-free, additive-free is what I'm reading here. Every can is crafted by a passionate team dedicated to smooth, air-roasted coffee. No bitterness, no additives, just pure, fresh coffee. Made for people who love the real thing. It's very good.
Yeah. It's nitro. You got to shake vigorously and then open slowly. So
Mine does not say that. Mine doesn't say shake vigorously.
Sure it does. Bottom left corner of the front of the can.
Oh, yes, it does. Shake vigorously to activate.
Right. It does not include the instruction to open slowly. So I shook vigorously and I opened quickly, and I caught my very sleep-deprived wife in the face with some nitro spray. But she said it was great. So that was her first taste test right there. But yeah, it's a good product. I exclusively drink Gigawatt coffee, not because, Eli donates to the show, or that he sends me coffee and always sends a nice note, he and his wife, Jen. It's a good business, and it's an excellent product. Their espresso is what I drink daily. I drink a lot of it daily now, and I love it. And I feel good buying it. I know who it's supporting.
It would be a really good commercial, and I hope he hears this. I know he said he's a busy man. He and Jen are both very busy creating this great product. It would be a very good commercial to just have portraits of people's faces, and as you go, it's a close-up. It's a close-up video, so picture it. Close-up of several people's faces, frame by frame. You go from one face to the next face to the next face, maybe 6, 7 different faces, and as you cycle through them, they have the nitro can opened where it sprays into their face, and you get their reactions one by one of being sprayed with the nitro in the face, and then their reaction changes from the reaction of being sprayed by the coffee to them all going,
That's a good one.
And then you have Gigawatt coffee, Gigawatt cold brew, shake vigorously, open slowly.
I like that. Oh, shake vigorously, open slowly. That applies. That would be a fun T-shirt. Just those words.
Yeah. I think it'd be a good commercial.
Very well. Eli, if you're listening, there's some more value right back at you. So thank you very much.
Yes, I think it would be a really good 20 to 25 second spot during the Super Bowl, and I am available to be one of the people in the commercial. Just you have my contact info, so just let me know.
Eli, the coffee guy, nitroed my wife in the face. .com. See if that URL is available. That would be fun. So thank you, Eli. Praetor Pareka of the Peoria Diocese, a.k.a. Hempress M, comes in through Cash App with $13.33. She says, OTO.
On the offensive.
Pray your rosary and get to Mass, right? Go to church and read your Bible, no Mass. She's a full-on Catholic. Thank you. Praetor Pareka of the Peoria Diocese, a.k.a. Hempress M. She and Tommy do a show every Wednesday and Sunday, I believe. Or it used to be Wednesday. It's no longer Wednesday. I used to listen on Wednesday. I think it's Sunday. Restore Christendom. So it's a great Rumble show. Check it out. Thank you. The Millennial Bookkeeper comes in through PayPal again with $10 and says, listening to the pre-show for the first time, looking forward to a great show. Bonus $10 donation for DJ Horseshoe. Happy Hump Day. This is funny because it is Hump Day in Australia where she is, but also I was not doing the pre-show tonight. So that donation came in while I was actively burping a baby, and I thought it was kind of funny because it was like 5:15. I'm like, I'm not running anything. So turns out I shouldn't, because people like it when I don't. So thank you, Millennial Bookkeeper. If you tune in some other time, I might be DJ Horsegoo again. Trashman came in through PayPal with $5.55 and says, a relatively unknown delight, especially in winter, is perpetual stew. Only thing is it's too warm to leave out on the porch all night yet. Trashman. Perpetual stew, are you familiar with this?
No.
Effectively, in the old logging days when you were subsistence, hunting for food, you would keep a pot of stew, almost like rolling. You'd be constantly adding stuff into it. So you'd go out, you'd shoot a rabbit, cut up the rabbit, add the rabbit to it, replenish the fluids and the spices, and you'd pretty much, it would be like you were adding to the stew, you're eating the stew, you're adding to the stew, and it's a perpetual stew. It's constantly like cooking.
Mm.
And so that was the idea of perpetual stew. He's saying, with a perpetual stew in the winter, you can add stuff to it. It freezes. You go out, heat it up, eat it, leave it, add more. Yeah. And apparently it's really, really good. All the spices and stuff mixed together. So thank you, Trashman, for that relatively unknown delight. Susan A. came in through Cash App with $5.55, and she says, OTO.
On the offensive.
Little turkey emoji, and says, Happy Thanksgiving. That's right.
Yes, Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I might be here before Thanksgiving. I might do a Thanksgiving special. The Millennial Bookkeeper comes in again through PayPal with $5, and she says, +5 for John saying, I'm lifting up my skirt here. That tickled my funny bone.
Very good. That's what I'm going for.
Oh my gosh. Is Taylor all right with that? You tickling other girls' funny bones? Jeez.
Just the funny bone.
Just the funny bone. Nothing else. Thank you, Millennial Bookkeeper. New dono. Josh T comes in through Venmo with $5 and says, MMO 193 was great. A 50-year mortgage killing Dave Ramsey in his sleep had me rolling.
I thought that was pretty good, too.
It is nice. Thank you, Josh T. Weirdo comes in through Cash App with $3.33, and he says simply, Praetor Weirdo of the Not So Flatlands comes in with $3.33, and he says, OTO.
On the offensive.
Thank you, sir. And then this is the day for double and triple donations. Praetor Pareka of the Peoria Diocese, Empress M, comes in again through PayPal with $1.81, and she says $219.55 out of $500 towards Tom's praetorship. Tom, of course, is her husband, who she does the Restore Christendom show with on Rumble. Whom. I never really got into the whom.
Well, if you rearrange the sentence, you would say she does the show with him, and if you would say him and not he, it's whom and not who.
Look for the M. If there's an M, it's whom. Perfect. Whomever John G. Dew is might consider reading the boosts.
Yes, I will read the boosts. For whomsoever will listen. Mr. Ed comes in with 5,000 Satoshis and says, congratulations for the twins. I am myself a father of two also, although I didn't have twins. My 33rd birthday is on the 17th, and my wife's is on the 19th. Well, congratulations to both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the value provided. Love the show art for episode 193. Nothing like a huge mountain of cocaine to sweeten your croissant. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Ed.
Thank you, Mr. Ed. Very much happy birthday. And happy birthday to Mrs. Ed.
Of course. C. Brooklyn comes in with 2,222 Satoshis and simply says, they are all pedos. OTO.
On the offensive.
Bully Steed comes in with 1, 2, 3, 4 and says, remain on the offensive. If it is Tuesday, it's Newsday. Hashtag MMO.
Oh, yeah. Love that.
Sanda Singh comes in with 500. Good to see you again, Sanda Singh. And then Piez comes in with 1 P.S.21 and says, thank you, gentlemen. Well, thank you, P.S. Thank you to everyone else. We also have Eric P.P. currently streaming value through CurioCaster as he listens live, and we always appreciate that. You, too, can listen live or send a boost for any reason you choose by getting a modern podcast app at what's one of the websites? New podcast apps?
Nudepodcastapps.com and newpodcastapps.com.
Newpodcastapps.com. There you will see a list of podcast apps that have all of your favorite shows where you can listen. And for those that have the proper papers, you can send them Bitcoin donations. We are one of those. We appreciate any kind of donation, whether it be time, your monetary support, or your creative talents with jingles or art. You can contribute to this show in so many ways. I don't know why you wouldn't.
And it's a great time to boost. Bitcoin is at a low currently, so Dave Ramsey would agree.
If you subscribe to that theory of boosting.
Send it low, buy it high, and send it low again. We are not offering financial advice. These are not whatever the thing is. Just pretend that we inserted it here.
Get it on.
Alrighty. Where did we end? We ended with, we were talking about some serious South American action, if I recall.
Yes, we were. I have nothing related to South America. I don't know why you would even mention that, because you know there's nothing else to talk about in South America at the moment. But we could talk about beef.
Ah, a South American topic after all.
No. We're talking about American beef.
Ah, a Texas beef.
American beef, yes. So, in the beef folder, you will find the beef, which is Packer Price Fixing Report.
Ooh.
The U.S. Attorney General says a probe is underway into foreign-owned meatpacking companies. I'm Clinton Griffiths. It comes after President Trump asked the Department of Justice to immediately begin an investigation into the Packers, saying they are driving up the price of beef through what he called illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. Agday's Michelle Rook also looking into this.
Old
Michelle,
news.
the president didn't name names here.
No, Clinton, he didn't, but collectively he said the meatpacking companies are driving up beef prices through illicit collusion, price fixing, and manipulation. Now, concentration in the processing sector has long been a hot-button issue for cattle producers and was a focal point during COVID. Several groups have been fighting to break up the monopoly, including RCAF, for 18 years now. So they hope DOJ will finally fix the problem. President Trump has launched a DOJ investigation alleging meatpacking companies are the source of high beef prices. On his Truth Social site, he vowed to ensure these corporations aren't criminally profiting at the expense of the American people. RCAF has alleged this monopoly has resulted in price fixing as part of their ongoing lawsuit.
We have alleged that the meat packers had unlawfully colluded in order to artificially depress cattle prices, while at the same time raising or inflating the price of beef to the consumers.
Currently, 80% of the U.S. beef packing industry is owned by 4 entities, and Bullard says the meat packers are in clear violation of antitrust law.
And that both the producers on the beginning of the supply chain and consumers at the end of the supply chain were exploited as a result of this monopolistic marketing structure that we have in the cattle industry and beef industry today.
He refutes the argument that current high cattle and beef prices are just a function of supply and demand, especially the historic low in the cattle herd due to drought.
And then it wasn't until the economic shock, that straw that broke the camel's back, that our cattle prices started to chase those beef prices upward.
He also discounts packers like JBS, showing nearly $300 million of losses in the second quarter.
So perhaps some of the losses that they made on their slaughtering side were made up from the margins of buying cheaper imports and passing it off to unsuspecting consumers as if it were a domestic product.
Reinstate M. Cool. We talked about this
a while back.
A long time ago. Probably within
So
the
you've
first
got
50 episodes.
Cargill, Tyson Foods, JBS USA, which is a subsidiary of Brazilian-based JBS SA, and National Beef Packing Company, which is owned by Marfrig Global Foods, based out of Brazil. So not only do you have, from our donation segment earlier, you have the note from Eli the coffee guy saying that the tariffs on Brazilian coffee are still in place. You also now have this probe, which is going to affect two very large Brazilian companies.
Yeah. Probing the meat packers. That's actually, a lot of people don't know that. That's how the Green Bay Packers got their name. They were the meat packers for a long time. But, so what do you make of this?
I think it's part of a larger Band-Aid approach to the rising consumer costs that are showing up right now. And Elon Musk sort of described this when he was talking about the methodology of Doge. You know, you overcompensate in the beginning, which is what these blanket tariffs were, overcompensation. And then you selectively roll back what you've done when you see that maybe you shouldn't have cut that job or put that tariff on. Do you see what I'm saying here? Instead of selectively doing things over a long period of time, you take a blanket action at first and then selectively roll things back to offset any negative effects.
What's hurting us the most from
Right.
the blanket? Let's cut a hole in the blanket. Yeah.
Right. So I think this is part of that kind of Band-Aid approach to remedying the negative effects of the blanket tariffs. And but this is an easy one because this has been a problem and a gripe of cattle ranchers for a long, long time.
Yeah, the M. Cool, which you spoke of, is the mandatory country of origin labeling. And when M. Cool was repealed, it allowed these packers, these meat packers, the Cargills and the JBS and the other ones named, to import Brazilian beef or a beef that's not in the United States, package it in the United States, and then call it a product.
And call
of
it
the US.
American beef. Yep.
And so that's the whole M. Cool argument. And it sounds like they might be reinstating it.
No. M. Cool's not the fix here. M. Cool is a tangential issue. He just brought up the country of origin issue as a way that meat packers improved their margins recently. So that's not really the issue here. The issue here is the concentration in the big four packers and their ability to control prices because of the concentration. Now, what you're probably going to see is the Trump administration recommend and then potentially roll out through one of the agencies an order that parts of these companies be sold off. But what the big problem here is that this concentration was achieved through government regulation. And unless you roll back those regulations that favored economies of scale and implemented barriers to entry, then you're just going to end up in the same place eventually. And probably pretty quickly. So, yeah, you might get some favorability points in certain groups, if you do this, if you undertake this, if you break up, the beef equivalent of the railroads, but there's got to be some other things that you do as well to keep this consolidation from happening again. And if you really believe in pure economic theory, these kind of things are going to be consolidated. It's more economically feasible to do these things at scale than to do them artisanally.
So what's next?
I think what's next is you get this big talk from Trump about how he's going to break up the Packers and make it more fair for Americans, and you're not going to have price manipulation by the Packers. And in effect, it could actually increase prices. I think Trump he has this sort of Teddy Roosevelt streak in him.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt was big on antitrust.
Yes. And I think he's really going to channel Roosevelt here and break up these Packers. And I don't know that it's going to be beneficial in the long run. And really what you're looking at in the beef packing industry is for mass consumption. If you really let the economy work itself out, you're going to have concentration in this supply chain. But what you need is deregulation on a local or at a state level, where if I go to my local rancher and buy beef from him, we can also have that cow cut and packed locally and not have to go through one of these onerous supply chains. And in some places you can do that. In some places it's very risky to do that because, it's food safety, quote unquote, and you can get thrown under the jail for skirting food safety rules and selling food without the proper, papers. So I think there's almost two economies. One, distributed local economy, and then a mass consumption economy.
Artisanal.
Well, it's not really artisanal in the definitional sense, because artisanal means non-mechanized. I wouldn't care if my local packer used modern mechanisms to cut and pack beef, but it's not affordable for them to do so because of regulation.
Small batch.
There you go.
Batch packing. Small batch meat packing.
It's really custom packing.
It is, because I've bought from Beef Initiative guys or local ranchers in St. Louis. They reached out, and I'm still working through. I think I bought 1/8 of a cow last time, and the packaging is fine. They just brought it to like a local meat processor,
Right.
So I'd like
which
that.
which is my point, that it's two different markets. So, yeah, I mean, maybe there's some price fixing in the mass consumption market for beef, but I don't know that breaking up the packers is going to be beneficial to the mass consumer in the long run, without offering some off-ramps along the way. I mean, I don't know exactly how to lay this out. Haven't done a lot of thinking on this in a while, but I'm skeptical, to just put it simply.
Yeah, I can see it. Another Band-Aid.
Yeah, basically.
50-year mortgages, and now antitrust meatpacking.
And $2,000 checks, don't forget those. Those are potentially coming down the pike.
Well, I think I should be getting a $2,000, or my children should be getting $2,000 collectively from the government, part of their savings account, right? That was a promise that I think went into place.
Yeah, I guess.
So, we'll see when that happens.
Well, I think you were trying to cue this up earlier, and I just kept talking, but I do have a clip in here called What Next?
Yes. Yes, it was.
However, the DOJ investigated packers in 2019 after the Holcomb, Kansas plant fire and during COVID when consumers paid record beef prices while producers received record low cattle prices. So Bullard thinks this is part of that ongoing probe.
It's our understanding or belief that the investigations that were first started under Trump administration 1 are continuing today. So the president's recent announcement, I think, will encourage and incentivize the Justice Department to culminate their investigation and actually take enforcement action.
Although he's not sure what enforcement may look like or if the packers could be broken up.
So we're hopeful that that's what we'll see, that we'll see the Department of Justice actually file a lawsuit alleging that the meat packers have violated the Sherman Act, Clayton Act, and Packers and Stockyards Act to the detriment of independent producers and U.S. consumers.
And while RCAF has been waiting 6 years for their suit to be heard in court, he thinks the president will fast-track the action and finally fix a market that has been fundamentally broken for years. I'm Michelle Rourke reporting for Ag Day.
Ag Day?
Yep.
Like an agricultural news source?
Yes. You don't think I work for the people here? You don't think I do my research to find the best information for our listeners, for our producers?
Big Agriculture. Sponsored by Cargill. Probably, actually.
We hate South American beef.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have
On
here?
a farming note, I have a clip about the hemp loophole that was closed with the government funding bill.
I saw a bunch of people up in arms about this. They were specifically pointing to was it Turtle Mitch McConnell? People were pointing to somebody. I can't remember who it was.
Somebody probably who has a very close alcoholic beverage lobbyist.
Ah, I see. Okay. I'll play the report.
With Alabama's medical marijuana industry tied up in legal battles for more than 4 years, many people turn to stores like these for pain relief, help sleeping, and stress reduction. But with one signature, all that could disappear.
There is not a single hemp plant on the planet that would meet their THC requirement. And so there's nothing that farmers would be able to even grow.
Not just gummies and cannabis-infused drinks, but Stewart says under these changes, even animal bedding and fiber containing hemp would be illegal. She says hundreds of thousands of people would lose jobs across the country, and the government would lose millions in taxes generated by the cannabis industry.
This is the Doobie Day #1, y'all. Welcome.
Martel Adams owns B. Amsterdam in Ensley.
Doobie Day #1.
With a year before those changes take effect, he's hopeful lawmakers will rethink the changes. He says he's okay with more regulation, but not elimination.
There's a new federal law, state law, there's a new hemp conversation every other day. I'm just a businessman trying to stay alive.
Stewart says since the 2018 Farm Bill opened the door for cannabis products like infused beverages, alcohol sales have dropped. And she says that strong lobbying effort is why this section was included in the bill.
The alcohol industry has lost a lot of money. They want control of the THC beverage category to make up for that loss, and they do not care who it hurts.
Have you had THC infused drink before?
No.
I have. I went through a little bit of a phase in the summer. It was like probably half a month long. I was trying these different THC infused drinks. They were not bad at all.
So were you having yours for anxiety or for pain, or why were you having yours? Because I'm led to believe that's the only reason people buy these things.
You could buy them at Total Wine. There was an entire aisle at Total Wine and Spirits, and it was hemp-infused, THC-infused drinks. And you could buy them and drink them, and it was for recreational purposes.
I see.
Glaucoma. I have glaucoma.
Yeah, of course. Sure. Okay, well, on the opposite side of the spectrum from the gift from Mother Earth, I have some technology clips.
Oh boy.
Programming note, though, do you have anything else tonight?
I just had a clip about some Polish rail sabotage. And it was, they suspect the Russians, of course, but basically.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah. No.
You think
proof.
it's going to be a nothing burger?
I think so. I mean, there was actual sabotage. Parts of a railroad track were blown up, and they suspect Russia, but I don't understand why Russia would do that, specifically when support for the Ukrainian war is kind of winding down across the entire spectrum, why they would actively sabotage a NATO country and draw them back into war. So,
unless they're about to invade NATO.
That's right. He's not stopping at Ukraine.
Never was.
Nope. So I won't play it. It's pretty much the whole package right there.
Okay. Well, I have first some clips about AI. Your favorite AI, Claude, was apparently used as a hacker.
Oh boy. Yes, Claude is great.
A different subject, a terrible first for the world this week. A Chinese-backed AI tool hacked about 30 places, including some financial institutions, without help from humans. So what is to stop these AI tools from wiping out the 401ks or the bank accounts of everybody watching?
Well, I think it's important to know that China used Anthropic, which is a U.S.-based tool. The only reason we know about this is because it's U.S.-based, and Anthropic disclosed the fact that its Claude model, its large language model, had been hacked and used for these nefarious purposes. Luckily, we do know about it. Anthropic is doing a number of things to address this, to stop it. I met this week with David Sachs, our AI czar in the White House. I met with a number of AI officials, the CEOs of AI companies in Silicon Valley this past week. This is something where we must lead. We must stay on the cutting edge of innovation. And from a regulatory standpoint, I want to make certain that in Congress, we're not doing anything to stop the ability of these cutting edge companies from operating here in America, putting us in a position to be way ahead of China, so this type of thing doesn't happen and we can stay ahead of the competition here.
There you go.
What does it matter if we stay? What does it matter if we stay ahead of China if they can just use U.S. models?
Well, they didn't use U.S. They hacked a U.S. model, presumably with
jailbroke it
with a Chinese model. Yeah, they removed the probably ethics.
The guardrails.
The ethics
the
guardrails.
Ethical guardrails.
With, I would assume, a Chinese artificial intelligence. And that's that.
Was this an AI honeypot?
I imagine.
It's our Chinese model seduced the American model and convinced it of its silly liberal guardrails were useless.
And now Bitcoin is in the shitter. It's all connected.
You think they're related?
No.
Well, you know what? I heard two things when I heard this report. Number one was we can never allow open source AI models. We got to shut that down because we can't control who uses them and what they use them for. Number two,
AI companies can do whatever they want. That's what I heard in that last part of his point.
Well, I don't know about that. But number two, the second thing I heard was Claude is the best model. If the Chinese want to use it to hack certain things, they must be using the best model.
Yeah. I like Claude. You know what's funny?
Well,
oh, go ahead.
Grok is trash.
Grok is trash. Grok can make fun videos, but I don't know about its coding abilities. Claude, I've literally on the show had something wrong with Mr. Feeney, who's our IRC bot, and I told Claude, and Claude fixed it. It's like, all right, and then restarts Claude, and then tests its changes, and says good to go. It's kind of amazing.
Well, very good. I mean, that's what I heard in that report was China is probably going to use the best tool available, and they chose Claude. So I've got a second clip called Our Models. We need our models.
About 2 years ago, we tried to get the Biden White House talking about these threats from AI, and everybody in the room literally laughed. Listen to this.
There's an expert from the Machine Intelligence Research Institute who says that if there is not an indefinite pause on AI development, this is a quote, literally everyone on Earth will die. Would you agree that does not sound good?
Your delivery, Peter, is quite something.
It sounds crazy, but is it?
All I can say is that there's a comprehensive process in place.
How about now, Senator Haggerty? Is this funny?
You know, I think what we're seeing is there really are serious threats. And the biggest threat of all, Peter, is if we step back and allow China to lead here, if we allow our adversaries to lead. Look, we understand what China's motives are. They floated a spy balloon over our country. They steal intellectual property on a regular basis. We need to make certain that leadership here in this field remains in America, that leadership in America is what everyone in the world is using, not Chinese models, but American models. Again, this is a critical national security issue. I think, as you said, we've seen it manifest itself just recently with these 30 countries that have been infiltrated. This competition is going to continue to mount. And again, I say we need to have the strength and the capacity here in America before all other nations.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about all of that, but individually, I try to do at least 40 minutes of work a day with AI, try to see how I can implement it into my job. Because I feel like that's going to be the direction. I know a lot of the boomers and Gen Xers I work with aren't thinking that way. So,
do you have the Claude Pro?
Yeah, I have a Pro subscription to Claude.
Would you say it's worth it?
I would. What I really like about Claude is with the Pro, you can get what's called Claude Code, where you can install an NPM package inside of a terminal. So as opposed to talking to it on a web and copying and pasting code back and forth, you can tell Claude, this is a problem that I'm having, and it involves these scripts. And I need you to fix that problem and then test it to ensure that it works. And if it doesn't work, continue trying to find a solution until it does work. And you can be very specific. Make a copy of it so we don't, screw it up and you screw it up and we don't have it. But it works. It works very, very well. It'll fix it. It'll oftentimes say, this is probably a better way to do it. I highly recommend Claude. It's a product that I stand behind. I think it's a great product. I have it installed on a lot of my machines, and on machines that I can install it on. What I can do is I can get Claude to make a program on a machine I do, and then send that program to the machine that I don't, which is what I did with my kids' nursery. They've got a little touchscreen control panel to control their lights, all one-handed operations. So when you're holding a baby, you can turn the lights down or turn the lights off, or play brown noise or play nursery music or normal music. My kids are going to be based or podcasts. I have it on good authority that their nursery is playing this very stream right now. Hello, children.
Very good. Very good. Hello, children. Okay, let's move into digital ID. Apple released an Apple Passport feature this week. And I've got an intro to this, and someone, Zolotech YouTube channel, giving us some instructions on how to use this.
Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released Apple's Digital ID for passports. It's finally here. It's a feature they announced quite some time ago, and it's available now on your iPhone. So I thought we'd talk about the requirements, how it works, how you actually add your passport, and where it can be used as well. Now, the overall requirements are pretty simple. It's only in the USA for now, on iOS 26.1 and later. You can add it from your Apple Wallet app, so if we go into Wallet, on the top of the Wallet app, we'll tap on the plus here, and now we can add it to our wallet under driver's license and ID cards. So if we go into that option, you'll see under United States, we have a new option for Digital ID. If we go into this, give it a second, you'll see it says Digital ID. Use your US passport to create a digital ID that can be used to book flights or hotels, pass through TSA checkpoints for domestic travel, open new accounts, and more. You can add it to your iPhone and Apple Watch or just your iPhone only. If we go ahead and add this, give it a second, what we'll do is to show you the first step is I'll go to the government's page here where we have the Department of State with a sample passport. So you can get past this first step, but you'll need additional steps in order to verify. So again, you just hold it over your passport just like you would with a license. It will process, we'll give it a moment here, but now you'll actually have to place your iPhone on the chip within the passport. So it says find the barcode on the inside back cover of your US passport and place your iPhone on the chip as shown. So of course you need a real passport to get through that next step, and there may be additional verification steps as well. You'll see they have a section where it says how to create a digital ID. And if we go forward here, you may actually have to scan your face similar to Face ID so it can verify it's with you. And then also you may have to wait for it to be approved. So there's additional steps here. You have to submit it for verification. Once it checks everything is correct and it's you, then it allows it to continue and be added to your wallet.
Breaking news, planes have flown into large buildings in the Chicago area. We have found their iPhones and identified them as ISIS-connected terrorists.
Yes, that's funny. That's a good callback. Okay, so let's hear about, obviously, how this is very private and very secure.
Until, somebody hacks Claude and it's not. Here we go.
Now, currently, this is only going to be available at TSA checkpoints in the United States in beta within airports at over 250 locations. It will allow you to verify your identity when traveling within the United States. So you, of course, could carry your typical passport with you, but it doesn't work around the world yet. So this is only for the United States so far, and you can use it to verify. Of course, if you maybe don't have some of the correct updated license information, you can use it there as well. And also for those of you concerned about overall security, you'll see here it says, like all IDs in Apple Wallet, Digital ID takes advantage of the privacy and security features already built into iPhone and Apple Watch to help protect against tampering and theft. Digital ID data is encrypted, and when users create a digital ID, their passport data is stored on the device. Apple cannot see when or where users present their ID or what data was presented. Biometric authentication using Face ID or Touch ID also ensures that only the owner of the digital ID can present it. It says only the information needed for a transaction is presented, and the user has the opportunity to review and authorize the information being requested with Face ID or Touch ID before it is shared. Users do not need to unlock, show, or hand over their device to present their ID. So for those of you that were concerned about that, again, it's all on device and secure once it's verified. So of course, it needs to be verified. That would have to probably verify with a database from the United States. They don't actually say how this works, but after it's verified, it's on the device and only on the device. You can see what it looks like here, where it says the following information will be presented, and then you can double click to sort of present that information. So just like you would use your Apple Wallet for maybe paying with a credit card, you'll be able to present your digital ID here.
The future is now.
Okay, last clip, no comment. Last clip, availability.
Now, of course, there's no mention of anything outside the United States currently, and there are different licenses available throughout different states, but the state has to work with Apple to get these on here. So that's why we only see a few states, as well as Puerto Rico, and then you've got the My Number card in Japan. So your country or state has to reach out to Apple, work with them to implement this, to verify on their server side, just like the licenses do, and once that's in place, then it can actually be added. So at this point, we're not sure how many people will use the digital ID, but it does appear to be very secure. But if you don't have a passport, it doesn't really matter. But let me know what you think of it in the comments below. But I just wanted to give you a quick walkthrough how it worked, how you would add that, and that it's available currently. So that's everything with Apple's digital ID. There's no word whether or not this will be added to Android phones or anything else in the future. And of course, it's not mandatory or anything like that. So it's only if you want it for your convenience. Otherwise, you can just use your normal passport if you'd like to.
Yeah, the smattering of states that are available are interesting because they're not like red or blue. They're a mixture of both.
Watching you.
Red or blue, watching you. Yeah, but it's like Arizona, Colorado, California, Georgia, Hawaii, Iowa, Maryland, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, Ohio, Puerto Rico, and West Virginia.
It's all about safety.
Your phone must know if you are who you say you are.
Safety and convenience.
Well, it also, iPhones scan your face about 2,000 times a day.
Yep.
Well, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Digital ID is here.
To stay.
Yeah, to stay. It ain't going away. These kind of things don't just get put back in the bottle. It becomes the norm, and soon it'll be like not having a bank account.
Well, just think about it. You could have guns that need your fingerprint to be scanned, activated, or scans your retina, and so you can fire it. But you also have to make sure that you charged it up, and hopefully the battery's still active when you pull it and you need to use it.
That's really interesting. I feel like we could most definitely create a trigger connected to a retinal scanner mounted on the optics of a weapon that would very easily lock or unlock a trigger.
I think something like that exists. I've seen some pretty cool concept guns where it'll have like a little screen on the back of the slide, and it'll be able to display the amount of bullets still in your magazine, like a first-person shooter. I think that would be cool, but when it comes to the critical functionality of a gun and trusting something digital that may or may not work.
I'm not saying we would use it, but if we know it's coming, why not go ahead and profit from it? I mean,
we could sell it to
some
China.
Kind of idealist?
Sell it to China.
Yeah, there you go.
Here you go, Chiners. Yeah, I don't know. I like my manual trigger that anyone can
I
pull.
didn't say you have to use it.
I don't even want to be. I don't want my name associated with that. You know how roasted we're gonna get on gun boards and gun YouTubers.
Yeah, well, Dan, it just so happens that I don't care.
Dues triggers. Do they fire? Sometimes they do. That's all you, buddy. You're alone on that one.
Okay, well, moving along, I have one final segment, and this one is a doozy. It's in the extremism folder. And this is from... Are you familiar with the Goyim Defense League?
I have a meme level understanding of it.
Well, Of a segment from a local news channel about its founder. Uh-oh.
I'm here.
Okay, my screen went black. I'm sorry. Screen went black for just a second. Had to make sure everything was all right. This is from News Channel 5, which is the YouTube channel. And News Channel 5 is a Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky channel. That's going to be like your Nashville market.
Okay.
And here is the first clip in this, and it is called Meet John Menendo. I think his name's Menendo.
Okay.
It's one of those stories that was jaw-dropping even for me when I stumbled across it. And as I heard from the group of parents who joined us,
even for him, who is he?
Most families have no idea that children are being targeted by adults who want to make them hate. For most parents, it's a hate that seems worlds away.
Oh my God, bro. You are a Jewish science experiment, bro.
But this hate is targeting your children.
Look at this Aryan Chad. Gonna hunt you down.
Targeting them.
Yeah, boy! Yeah! Let's go!
Inside their own bedrooms.
These young man! Woo! White power!
The man behind the videos. You have a problem with Jews in general, though.
Yes, I do.
Is John Menadio, the same neo-Nazi we had confronted outside City Hall.
Hitler was right!
His group, the Goyim Defense League, created scenes like this on the streets of Nashville in the summer of 2024.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Even assaulting a young Jewish man in the dark of night.
All I know is I heard gunshot and I just ran out running. Yes, it was inside the school.
When a school shooting at Nashville's Antioch High School earlier this year left one student dead, another injured, the 17-year-old shooter left behind a manifesto that indicated he had been influenced at least partly by Menadio's hateful propaganda.
Okay. John Menadio II, the leader of the Goyim Defense League, or GDL, and he's active in Nashville, in the Nashville area. So, we're going to learn a little bit more about that Antioch shooter later, but I'll give you a tease. You know, they say that he was influenced by Menadio. The shooter was black.
The perfect Aryan specimen.
Yes, we will discuss that later. But in the meantime, let's hear part 2 of this quasi-introduction to John Menadio.
So what I do is I'm an entertainer, pro-white entertainer. I hate non-whites, okay?
Live streaming from his own racist website after being repeatedly banned from mainstream platforms, the Springfield, Missouri man makes money from other white supremacists who pay to cheer him on.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
How old are you?
I'm too old to be on this, but I'm warning women like you to stay away from these filthy.
As he goes into roulette-style video chat rooms.
How old are you?
I'm 12, about to be 13.
Where he often encounters children.
How are you?
So, yeah, how are you?
Good, man. How old are you?
10.
Awesome, man. Do you like...
No.
Good job. Yeah, white power to this.
We asked a group of parents to watch some of the clips with us to help us process what we were seeing.
Yeah! Don't get yourself right! Yeah! These
How Menadio's theatrics, including use of filters to change his appearance, have made him a celebrity among some kids, while others...
You'd be proud to be white and we're gonna bury you.
Stop just to take in his shocking displays of cruelty.
Well, listen, I was planning on shooting up like a black school.
Here, these young girls try to talk him out of the mass murder of innocent black children. while these young boys can barely contain their amusement over his overt racism.
More of this.
Yeah, 12-year-olds love when you say anything that's horrible. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I was unaware of this guy and his antics.
I didn't know about this. I thought at first when he started playing it, I thought it was there's this guy that dresses up like a clown and wears like a Nazi armband. I've been seeing his stuff on X, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not him.
But, you know, they both target these same platforms. The roulette style chat, video chat websites. And it's just to get reactions, you know?
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Well, I'm sure he's also kind of a douche.
It would seem so. I mean, so far it would seem so, and I don't think we're going to see any evidence to the contrary. So let's get some of these parents that he mentioned in the report. Let's get some of their reactions to these clips.
First reaction?
So sad.
Sickening.
Yeah, it's sickening. But I can't believe that guy's whole thing is engaging with kids like that. That's just so pathetic.
Yo,
Hey, whoa. I thought there was in your house.
Get the ball.
Then there are the guns.
Is it real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you shoot something?
No, I can't, but it's real.
Oh,
I'm gonna go kill for Charlie Kirk.
Will you take me with you?
And when he picks up that AR and he's putting it in the sky, again, there's another kind of excitement, yeah, enthusiasm of, oh my God,
It's like a
wild.
What I hear you saying is the gun is used as the hook to sell the hate.
Absolutely.
Is your dad in your life?
Here, Minadio tries to befriend a 12-year-old girl whose dad had died.
That's also so predatory.
Yes.
To ask, where's your dad? Like he's looking for the vulnerable kids that are going to be looking for the strong male influence. And here he comes in with his big, strong gun.
Absolutely.
And telling her dating advice and all of that. Like, that's just
Like instant to
sick.
grooming, right? Like he found his way in, and
We need more kids like you on this website because we got to be pushing this white power. Okay.
And once he's made the connection, the neo-Nazi tries to get the white kids to come to his websites and become followers.
Read that for me. The headline.
Every single aspect of the media is Jewish.
I have one of those flyers on my desk at work. When the Going Defense League were in town last summer, were distributing those pamphlets. That's what they were throwing on people's yards in the Jewish parts of town.
All of those are Jewish?
Yeah.
Fox? Yeah. Fox is Jewish?
Yes.
Yes. Comcast?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was shocked when I found that out too.
You know, there's something as tasteless as this is. Just because John Minadio is doing this and videoing himself doesn't mean he's the only person on the internet trying to interact with and groom the kids on these sites.
Right. All right. There's people that actually, you know, as kind of gross as his ideology is, there's people that want to do worse things too, and they should be equally regarded as disgusting, and have focus pieces on them. I think that's what you're saying.
Yes. These sites are filled with predators of all kinds.
Yeah. We used to do chat roulette and Omegle back in the day. And I don't know why we saw it so fun, because every other person was whacking off on there, but
yeah.
But it was fun when you're with your friends. you're trying to see boobs. Show us your boobs.
Well, it's a sense of adventure. You never know what the next video is going to be.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, that John Minadio is a symptom, I guess is the argument. Not only of the circumstances that lead to kids being on services like this, 10, 12 years old, as you heard in the clips, but also of the societal situation that would have some kids actually taking his ideology seriously. But anyway.
Yeah.
Let's continue with how he treats the not white kids.
How does it feel to see kids embracing his lies?
No, it's terrible because the guns, the racism, all those things are just props so that once he gets them in, it's like, all right, now let's get to the good stuff, hating the Jews.
Look at me, boy. Listen, I got something for you, little Holocaust survivor. Come survive this.
And when Minadio encounters children who are not white,
here's what it's going to come down to, okay? In all honesty, okay? You people are a bioweapon, okay?
The Goyim Defense League leader can be unbelievably cruel.
You look like an ugly
mocking a biracial teen.
Oh, but you look like you're part. Is that true? Yes, sir. Man, that sucks, bro.
Calling him a Jewish science experiment. Eventually using a monkey doll.
Oh my God.
To act out the murder of a black baby. For Miriam Abou-Fazli, it was just too much to take.
Sorry.
It's evil.
You think about those that are being spewed hate on a platform like this, and even the biracial child was not willing to accept a part of him because he's like, I have this person in front of me that's telling me it's wrong. I have to believe it's wrong.
And he calls him sir.
I know, that's what I thought. Yeah, he said
he internalized that like that.
Like it just was, yeah, he didn't even flinch.
He was so vulnerable. He was so vulnerable because it was somewhere else in him. It was somewhere else around him. And that man just dug that hole deeper and filled it with his hate.
Sounded like a white lady making it about herself.
Uh-huh. Notice the language.
Exactly.
Internalized.
Internalized, yeah. As soon as I heard that, I go, that lady's white. I can tell because she's about 4 octaves higher than everybody and crying.
Uh-huh. Yep. Now, there's a real problem with, kids wanting to be on these kind of things by themselves. And because I understand where you were coming from, where you'd get on with a group and it was fun to see what happened next. But when you're on there, there's a problem with kids wanting to be on there by themselves. And then also there's a problem with kids not having any convictions to say, no, you're stupid. You're a clown. And that's what they're seeing with that one example, is the kid basically being bullied and not having the conviction to say, no, you're wrong. First of all, you're not even in front of me. You're on a computer. And that's so different than you being right in front of me telling me this. I can say whatever I want to you the same way you're saying whatever you want to me.
Right.
And that leads us into the Antioch shooter. Let's learn a little bit more about the Antioch shooter.
For this group of parents, it was a troubling reminder of the Antioch High School shooter who had somehow come to hate his own skin.
That kid was taught to hate himself and to hate others and killed them.
Is it fair to call this child abuse?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God,
Absolutely.
yes.
Now listen, you guys got to start playing with guns, okay? Joysticks. Joysticks are for
Adding to the horror, Minadio encourages the kids to get guns and prepare themselves to become killers.
All right, so you know what that means?
Hell yeah.
It's time to strap up and get ready for a complete race war. So here's what's coming, guys. Race war. White power, lead, okay? White power, lock and load, okay? You need to be at the shooting range. Get ready to kill.
All right. Now, what is the solution to people like this?
Well, they don't give one. They throw out some qualifications in the next clip, which you'll see is named free speech, and they'll qualify what free speech is, which was something we talked about earlier. But there's really no solution. The only solution is basically a callback to what Minadio claims is the problem here, which I found interesting. But there's no alternative solution given. And I'll say that there's no solution given to this because the society that we've created doesn't allow for convictions, especially in the modern education system. In the modern education system, you have to be absolutely tolerant. And when you're absolutely tolerant, you can't have convictions. So you're supposed to tolerate anyone and anything they say, which gives space to people like John Minadio or people like the Nashville school shooter who can do and say whatever they want to. And you can't do anything about it because if you're intolerant, you might get suspended. Where your consequence horizon is getting suspended, where the trans shooter or the idiot Minadio or his equivalent in your class, their consequence horizon might be all the way out to dying for their lack of belief or their depression, nihilism.
Packaged in a way, in a succinct package, the problem is apathy, or the problem is that this hyper-inclusivity breeds general apathy, and through that apathy, there are no convictions. Well, yeah, that's
right.
The definition of apathy.
Yes. I would say the problem is the religion of equality.
So the Aristotle quote of "a friend to all is a friend to none" is in play here.
Yes.
Roger, I agree. I agree with that.
Okay, so let's finish this out. This very sad segment, I'll add. It's not a very good ending segment, just because it's outrageous. Free speech, and then we're going to get a list of the apps that he uses.
Perfect. So you can see his content firsthand.
I can't escape the financial factor. I can't.
And the people were giving it when like the worst parts came
that's
up.
why he
You
does
see
it.
the thing.
It's so clear to me.
Bam! Go feed it, right? Stop giving them money. Feed them bullets.
In these videos, these people see a man willing to take advantage of innocent young children for the payouts from his sick followers who thrive on that hate.
I'm all for free speech.
That's not speech.
He's a Rumble guy,
Those
isn't he?
are threats.
This is exploitation of
Definitely
those
a
are
Rumble
actual
guy.
threats.
Yes.
Let's go kill him, bro. Let's go kill him.
Hunting season. Woo! All right, brother. You're getting it. How old are you?
John Minadio responded to my questions in a chat on X, insisting that he is not the problem. He said no one under the age of 18 is supposed to be on these video chat apps, saying, and these are his words, you should blame their parents. Obviously, that's no excuse for his own conduct. He also said he offers a disclaimer on his podcast that he does this, quote, for entertainment purposes only, and that he disavows any violence. Of course, that's not something he tells any of the children.
And Phil, I feel like many parents are watching this and asking, What app is he using?
Yeah, that's probably the most important takeaway we can bring tonight. The main one is something called OME TV, although there are others. One is called Monkey. I checked them out, and there are a lot of kids there. Parents really need to check their children's electronics tonight. From what I saw, this is not any place that any child should ever be.
Let me see your electronics, child.
So basically, Manadio says you should blame the parents. And then the guy doing the presentation said parents should check their children's devices.
This reporter agrees with the Nazi. Check your devices.
But yeah, this is a societal symptom. This is a sore on the American body politic. And it's indicative of the very deep rot of the religion of equality. And the fruit that the religion of equality yields is disgusting and murderous. And it doesn't allow any room for real discussion and intellectual exploration. By its nature, it is so appalling, and the incentive is to be so appalling that it will eventually lead to the belief, like we said earlier, 2, 3, 5 years free speech will be totally equivalent with polite speech.
Yeah. If we keep, I think we got to call it out. Anytime somebody makes a distinguish between speech and says it's not free speech, we got to call it out. Even if it's RBF bash and or Republicans, Trump and Pam Bondi, Biondi, we got to call it out. And we got to keep speaking the truth to the youth. I don't know. I'm lame. My nephew said I'm lame.
Well, that's what happens when you get old. You're not supposed to continue to appeal to the
I don't
youth
try
as
to
you
appeal.
get older.
I send them things that I think are funny, and they're like, "That's lame." I've seen that a bazillion times. Like, oh, geez.
Well, you're doing the right thing, and you should tell them to stop being a brat.
My nephew,
you laugh at your uncle.
My nephew. That's right. I'm funny, damn it. People, there's a thing called Isobot, and people use it a lot with things I say. Just get progressively sadder and sadder to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to end this, but I didn't fix the issue from last week where the outro wasn't working.
But it did start working eventually.
Yeah, because
didn't it?
I did a rough and dirty solution. Actually, I think I know what I did. Yeah, let me fix this quick. On the fly podcasting is the way to go because you have to be very solution oriented. And have you ever heard people that say orientated?
Yes, I have.
That bothers
and I feel
me
like I heard someone say it recently.
Orientated?
Maybe at work. I don't know.
Oriented. Let's get out of here.
Waiting on you.
Parents, check your children's technology.
Yes.
Son,
as a matter of fact, for most of you out there, if your child is still under your roof, you would probably be smart to take away their technology.
What is this, Tamagotchi? You looking at porn on this thing?
I wish you had said that without the background music before we hit the outro.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah. Well, just as a reminder, I will not be here next week. I will be traveling, doing reconnaissance for the offensive. Dan may be here. If he lets me know what he plans to do, I will probably have time to send out a newsletter because I'll be traveling and have my laptop with me. But yeah, I will see you all Tuesday after next.
That's the way to do it.
As long as I don't decide to ride a speedboat.
Yes, sir. Don't want to get blown sky high by the United States Army. I don't really feel like leading a revolution. Just because of the kids, you know? If I didn't have the kids...
But it's for the kids, Dan.
That's what I used to wake up at 3 a.m. and feed them. It's for the kids.
I'm looking at some of our art submissions. There are some classics in here.
Classics are the best. And I'm looking forward to it. But from St. Louis, Missouri, I have been Dan Gehring.
And from America's South Coast, I've been John G. Dew.
These art submissions are great. I like. Oh wow, these are very good. Well, keep one in the chamber. Be an equal opportunity shooter. Shoot the threat. MMO out.
Okay, we need to speed run this production. I have a grandmother who has a birthday, and I'm gonna go at least say hello before everyone leaves the party.
Okay. I'll pull up the title list and I'll read through them. Here we go. Nope, that is in podcasting 2.0. That is not going to work. Okay, notoriously gay, Rumble Rich, Internet Addict, Dahan and Jahan, Hungarian Playbook, Right-Wing Scene, Jewish Whores, Anti-Statistic, Anti-Semitic Podcast, Ops de la Mexico, Southern Hammer, Average African Package, Artisanal Cobalt, Doro 26, Artisanal Economy, and Goyim Defense League.
I
know, rough.
Do them again one more time.
Notoriously Gay, Rumble Rich, Internet Addict, Dahan and Jahan, Hungarian Playbook, Right-Wing Scene, Jewish Whores, Anti-Statistic, Anti-Semitic Podcast, Ops de la Mexico, Southern Hammer, Average African Package, Artisanal Cobalt, Doro 26, Artisanal Economy, and Goyim Defense League.
I like, and I'm going to write it out to see if I like the way it looks.
Was ISOBot firing tonight? Try it, overthrowing the U.S. government.
Think of what's in it for you.
Certain death. It's pretty good.
What did I call the speedboat? Did I just call it speedboat races? Speedboat?
I thought it was cargo boat.
No, I said... segment, maybe, if they send a donation. I don't know. I got the cold brew. We'll talk about it, but I might crack one open and sip a little bit, get a little bit of going.
Make sure you shake it vigorously.
Vigorously?
Vigorously. You have to
Should I hold it? Should I hold it around my waist area?
Sure. But be sure to open it slowly after shaking it vigorously. Nurse Elise learned the hard way.
Now I will open slowly.
Open it slowly. Ooh, there's a sip. Little ASMR.
I know that was nice.
It was. It was nice. What do you think?
I think we should put a marker down, or someone should ISO that, so we could make an ad for 4 gigawatt that they'll probably never use, but at least they'll smile.
Gigawatt. At least you'll smile. You might not be satisfied, but you'll smile. Fun times. Pre-offensive.
What about anti-statisticism?
Okay.
I don't like it. I actually hate it. So never mind.
I don't like it. I hated it as I said it.
We need a title.
I don't know.
The Oversight Committee that I serve on has released, and we saw the Israeli government and tell us and the questions to ask work for Israel. I'm proud from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people, and so that's what I was referring to.
A loner now, or do you think she's still going to remain America?
My computer's at
There
one.
is
Yes, that's exactly what they're going for. Sex puns.
Is that during the show? Sex puns?
Triggering the marker and I don't think so.
Open slowly. An ad for 4 gigawatt that they'll probably never use, but at least they'll smile. An ad.
Yes, that's exactly what they're going for. Sex puns. No, it's not. I thought I had put a marker down for. Put me in as a supporter of free speech, but not hate speech. And it's like, well, you're not a supporter of hate speech.
Yeah,
that's
already
insane.
that's already going to investigate Southern
Hungarian playbook, some things.
Available tools to protect our nation from these
2 other groups.
boys. Tyson Barker from the
Anti-Semitic, because that's a forever changing and shifting ideology. The Jewish community of Mexico strongly condemns the anti-Semitic remarks and
like Punta Juda on the palace.
Puta Judia.
Punta Judia.
Puta Judia.
Puta. Puta. Puta.
Puta Judia means, and I
palace.
Puta Judia.
Punta Judia.
Puta Judia.
Puta. Puta.
What about this?
Puta. Puta.
Puta Judia. Puta Judia.
Puta. 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 Punta Judia.
Puta Judia.
Puta. Puta. Puta.
Puta Judia. What about that?
Sure.
Yeah. You're not in a fighting. You got to get to old Gma's birthday.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope to see that happen.
No.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, I appreciate you coming on this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dana.
She apologized.
Oh. Do you think she's a loner? Loner now?
So it's funny.
Well, if we're not gonna buy the domain, why don't we just title it #Doro26, and then if that does happen, we will be the first result chronologically ever.
He is present. Smile. You might not be satisfied. I'll do that.
Offensive podcast is now live.
Get it on.
Punta Judia.
How do you spell Doro? D-O-R-O?
D-O-R-O. I would just do #DORO26, no spaces.
Okay.
Punta Judia.
Puta Judia.
Puta.
Puta Judia.
It must be quite apparent by this.
I think you leave the into the intro.
Judia.
It must be quite
a little bit of a space.
Punta Judia.
Puta Judia.
Puta.
Puta Judia.
It must be quite apparent.
Puta Judia.
It must be quite apparent by this time to any thinking.
Puta Judia.
Sure.
It must be.
Perfect. Puta Judia.
It must be.
Alrighty. Doro 2026. It's never going to happen. But if it does, that'll be insane. I will eat my words.
I think the obvious best art is the puzzle piece.
Al-Qaeda. Taliban. Nazi. Far-right. Boko Haram. Idea. Explain this to me.
They're all just ideas.
Oh, I see. I gotcha. I like that. Boko Haram. It's an idea. Perfect. Okay. I do like
Marco reading though is so good.
it is funny. I'm going to drop them into the chat room so people can look at them. Boo-da-boo.
He gets the facial expression perfectly right.
In a powdered wig. That is exactly what you asked for.
I know it is. You know, we'll never be able to reuse Marco in a wig. But could we reuse the idea piece?
Probably. I like the Marco in the wig. It's fun. It's curious. You're like,
it's fun.
What is this? What is this casual show about? This looks good. I also like the You in the Boat one, which is the GTA kind of Vice City vibe.
It's a cool one.
Yeah. That's the problem. Is can we ever realistically use any of these pieces again? All right.
Only in dire circumstances.
Yes. Only when Wolf is taking his wife square dancing. That's when we'll use them.
Conceptually, I love the idea puzzle piece. But effectively and practically, Marco in the powdered wig is just so good.
Plus the font freaking slays on that one.
Yeah, it does.
Font goes hard on the Rubio.
Okay, Rubio it is.
Rubio it is. Good job, Wolf. You have won once again. Hard competition.
I know. All those other pieces that we had to sift through.
I like that he sends multiple, though, because he's like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm going to give you some options, which is nice because we don't have any other options. But I want to start our art generator where we can just
I think that'll make it easier for people to submit.
Yeah. Because email is difficult. All right.
Okay, I gotta go.
Sounds good.
Good show. I am sorry to have skipped all of the formalities of asking how y'all are, but
we're good. We're just tired.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell your mother-in-law that I appreciate her. And yeah, I thought it was a good show.
Yeah, me too. It was fun one. I will do that.
All right. I'll talk to you before Tuesday.
Okay. Wish Gam happy birthday for me.
Yeah, I will. I might eat an extra piece of cake for you.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye. Alrighty, I should probably end the video stream at this point. I'm no longer paying attention to it.